All right, everybody, welcome and good evening. Thank you very much for joining me today. We are going to be going over the special elections and the Supreme Court race in Wisconsin. We'll be going over the Florida race as well. I'm just looking for my cell phone. I don't know where it is, so hopefully it doesn't go off during the live stream. So thank you all very much for joining me today. I wanted to get on a little bit early, so the results will be staggering throughout the night. So the first ones that we're going to get are going to be the 6th Congressional District in Florida. We'll then also get the Wisconsin and the 1st Congressional District in Florida later because that Congressional District is in the Central Time Zone. So we'll get the Florida one first in the 6th Congressional District. So we're going to be watching the New York Times, see what's happening. So, what should we expect today? So I went ahead and started crunching some numbers. Now, to be quite honest with you, I haven't been following American elections. To be honest with you, I've been following the Canadian elections. I still haven't really gotten into the Australian elections. That will be coming soon, but you probably notice on this channel a major shift toward looking at international races. So, yeah. So what can we expect today? So I went ahead, created a model yesterday for the congressional races in Florida. I just took the old model that I had from Wisconsin and put that in there and said, what can we see? Marco, thank you very much. Would you live in Canada if you could? Yes. Yeah. Like I wouldn't even right now I'm in the process of trying to get Slovak citizenship so I can move to the European Union, but in a heartbeat, I would move. And by the way, for those of you who are wondering, I do have my Substack, which is votingtrend.com. So please go to my Substack there. But for those of you who are interested in Canadian politics, let me just go ahead and promote this right now and put a plug. Just starting it. Haven't really done anything with it yet. But there is a new Substack that I'm working on with Kartik Krishnaiyer. You've seen him on this channel before, called the 11th Province. Okay, so it is an American take on Canadian elections. And it's not about how necessarily Canadian elections impact the United States. No, it's just us talking about Canadian elections. If you go to the regular Substack, which is Voting Trend, I will be, and it's linked down below in the description. Our podcast comes out tomorrow, talking mostly about Canadian elections and talking about the situation in France with Marine Le Pen. So please go to my Substack down below, go there. But the 11th province is just the 11th province let me try that again. The 11th province.substack.com. Haven't really pushed it yet, just kind of in the beginning mode of it, but hopefully it will be like, well, now you got all my statistics. Hopefully it'll be like the Voting Trend one that I have here. So let's go ahead and talk about what we should expect in the elections. Let's start with Florida first. So I put in some statistics, the early vote, vote by mail, and the election day results as of now. What I have in my model as of right now in Florida's 6th Congressional District is that the Republicans will win the major party vote. Now, remember, the major party vote is Democrat and Republican, right? So it doesn't include these others, Andrew Parrott and Randall Terry. Randall Terry is a guy, an extremely pro-life guy who's been in Florida politics for years. Like, he carried fetuses, into public and stuff, like that kind of guy. Always in Florida politics. But anyway, if we're talking about the major party vote, as I have it right now, of the major party votes, Randy Fine, who, I'm sorry, is a despicable person, will win about 62.6% of the major party votes. So that's what I have it as right now. In the 1st Congressional District that we have up here, Jimmy Patronis is running for the Republicans, and he will probably get around 66.9% of the major party vote. So that's going to be a little bit down because the independents will take a little bit out of it, but it should be a big night for the Republicans. Now, to give you an idea of what we're looking at. This is Volusia County. And going into Election Day, the Democrats and Republicans were only 200 votes off of each other. Last night, there were only 200 votes separating Democrats and Republicans in Volusia County. Now, look at how much the Republicans have made up just on Election Day alone. Okay, so that's going to be a big thing. So what can happen? What should we consider a good night in Florida? We'll get to Wisconsin in a few. What should we consider a good night in Florida? Let's first look at the 1st Congressional District. Up in the Panhandle, that's just probably not going to be a good thing. If the Democrats can keep the Republicans in the low 60s, that will be good. 60, 61. So what would be a good Democratic day in U.S. House District 6? If the Democrats keep Randy Fine under 60%, that would be a pretty good day for the Democrats. If the Democrats are able to be in the mid-50s, that is an excellent day for the Democrats. If the Democrats happen to win this race, which I don't think will happen, but they do, we are seeing a major shift in electoral behavior, because as of right now, of those who have voted in the 6th Congressional District, 52.58% are registered Republicans. So what's happening in the 6th Congressional District is that the Democratic numbers are higher as far as a percentage of the composition of those who are voting, because the non-party affiliated voters are not voting as much. So this is more of a partisan number. So if we look at, let's say, Volusia right here, you can see, yes, you have the NPAs here. This number would usually be substantially higher, right about here. So that's one of the big reasons why we're seeing what we're seeing. But Florida, if the Democrats can be in the mid-50s, that is a major, I'm not going to say, well, maybe upset. Because in order for them to really get to this 55%, they would essentially need every registered Democrat and every registered independent to swing their way. If they somehow win, that means they took a big chunk of Republicans with them. But right now I have I don't have like the first numbers in. So we'll see. I don't have the numbers in that are the people who are going to be voting in the last 20 minutes. It's not going to be huge. Now, the first numbers that do come in are going to be more Democratic, because they're going to be the vote by mail and the early vote. So those will be substantially more Democratic, and those probably should be in the 50s, should be in the 54, 55 range maybe. Okay, it's Election Day where Republicans have really made their advances today. Okay, and that's something that, you know, Jim Messina kind of cursed the Democratic Party by saying that Election Day is just another day. No, it's a separate day. Now, if we go over to Wisconsin, I haven't done much with Wisconsin. I honestly have not been following it as much, just because I've just been so immersed in Canadian politics that I haven't really talked about it that much. But I went ahead and took my old model that I had for Wisconsin during the presidential election, which did really good with the early vote and vote by mail numbers. Okay. And I put those in. And as of right now, the Democrats have a good chance of doing well based on early votes. So absentee votes, early in-person absentee votes and stuff like that. Democrats look to do really well. Now remember, two things you have to realize. One, Wisconsin is a nonpartisan race for the Supreme Court. But as you see here on the website of the New York Times, it says endorsed by. So it's essentially a partisan race, yet be a nonpartisan. And second thing with Wisconsin, people aren't registered Democrats, Republicans, Independent, which is the reason why I hate Target Smart from the last election, because they kept on telling people, you know, about registered Democrats and registered Republicans in Michigan and Wisconsin. I'm telling people there are no registered Democrats or Republicans in those states. So So the model, I put the numbers in as to where the vote distribution is and based on previous election results. And the Democrats are doing slightly better in this race, as far as a percentage, than Kamala Harris did. Now remember, this is based on early voting, all the votes that came in until now. That does not include what happens today. So when I do the numbers or give you the numbers for Florida, that is more of a nowcast that we can really look at as a forecast of what the election will be, because the only numbers I don't have in there are the numbers for the last 20 minutes of the election. In this one, I don't know what's going to happen on election day. If there is a big Republican swing on election day in Wisconsin, like we see here in Volusia County, I mean, let's see, by party and type. So this will give you an idea. If we look at these two, vote by mail and early voting, you can see the blue and the yellow bars are very close. But if you look at the green bars, you can see the Republicans way out ahead. As a matter of fact, the no party affiliate voters are closer to the Democrats than the Republicans, which would indicate that most of these non-party affiliated voters coming out today are probably more likely to lean Republican. I don't see there to be an upset here. I'm just going to say that. I don't see there to be an upset. As I mentioned in Florida last time with my nowcast, everyone talked about, could the Democrats win the Senate race? Could Kamala Harris? I kept on saying no. Okay, no. So that's not going to happen. But the Wisconsin one, if this huge shift doesn't happen, and again, it's not partisan voting, Wisconsin, I think, could be a close race tonight. But I think it slightly favors the Democrats. Slightly. Very slightly. So that's what we're going into today. We have about 1 more minute until the polls close in the state of, well, part of the state of Florida, actually. Hopefully, I'm going to just keep it here on the Florida 6th, and let's see what we have. But yeah, let me go ahead and look at the chat while we're waiting for this last minute here. Thank you all very much for joining me tonight. Greatly appreciate it. Would you say the political state of the U.S. is where it's at? Okay, yeah, I mean, I'm trying to get Slovak citizenship. Honestly, a lot of the reason why I've not been posting the last few days, both on my Substack and on YouTube, is I've been getting documents like crazy to apply for citizenship in Slovakia. Okay. You know, and maybe move, if that doesn't work, then maybe move to France. You know, right now, Marine Le Pen has been kicked off of the ballot in France. Nicolas Sarkozy is going through, you know, a possible more criminal investigation, stuff like that. Here in the United States, as CoffeeZilla says, crime is legal, right? Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. I do not want my money in an American bank with Elon Musk having all those everyone's account information. I do not want to be in a country where we have a president talking about a third term. Yeah. That's it. So, okay. Let's see. So it is 6 p.m. I'm just going to reload this. I don't know if reloading will do anything. I guess I can go over. I'm going to go ahead and look at my... And by the way, if you watch me, you know that I had laptop problems in Europe. Volusia County elections. I'm going to see if Volusia County has some stuff up immediately. Okay. Learn more. Okay, it says unofficial election results. It doesn't really have a... Okay, here we go. Whoa. Holy shit, we might have... No, okay. Wait. 15,000, 18,000. Whoa. 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 Okay, forget this. I'm looking at Volusia counties right now. It has 54% for wheel and 45% for that. So I said at the beginning, I go, if there is a major shift and the Democrats win, we're seeing a realignment in American politics. And you know what? I have no problem being wrong. I have no problem being wow. And that's from Lake. Wow. Okay. God, I wish they'd do this. Okay, so here we go. So what do we have in right now in Volusia? There we go. Volusia's coming in. That's the numbers I have. So what that is that's early votes completely counted, vote by mail partially. So some vote by mail came in today. Those are partial. Wow. 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 I mean, I'm speechless. I'm I'm speechless. Um okay, now okay. Let's put it this way. My projection for Florida that I had coming into today with all the early votes and vote by mail that there was at that point, Randy Fine was still going to get about 54% of the votes. Okay, so that's with that. But we have Lake County. Okay, we have Flagler. I mean, Randall Terry is not winning in Flagler. Just put it that way. Holy shit! I'm speechless. I'm now. Do I think the Democrats will win? This is still a little bit too close for the Democrats to win tonight. I think because there was a lot of vote by mail. So if we go look at voting by type, you can see how much of this was election day voting in Volusia today. You can see how much of this was election day voting. So these numbers will change, okay? But I expected with these numbers for the result to be flipped. And I'll admit and it's not necessarily that the model is wrong, it's that there's a fundamental change in electoral behavior. Now, let's wait to see if some more, see what Flagler, they went ahead and took those numbers off. I'm going to see if I can get anything from Flagler County. This is, okay, unofficial results, Flagler. Yeah, Flagler actually does have Randall Terry first place with 372 votes. They took it off here, but that's what they actually have on there. Wow. Did Signalgate? Because remember, okay, we're talking about Michael Waltz. We're talking about Mr. Signalgate himself. This was his congressional district. Wow. Now, there is another thing that I didn't mention in the pre-show, I guess, or the pre-live stream, which is that there is kind of an internal battle in Florida between the Ron DeSantis people and the Trump people. Randy Fine is very much a MAGA Trump person. And there was talk in certain Republican circles that that DeSantis wouldn't even care if Fine lost this seat. And a lot of Republicans in there wouldn't care if Randy Fine lost this seat. A lot of DeSantis Republicans. Now, I believe that's a little bit too much inside baseball type of talk of internal Republican politics. They actually affect, 50,000 voters that have voted so far. But this, wow, St. Johns County. Now let's see what St. Johns has. Okay. So yeah, there's something wrong with Flagler. Now, Jimmy Petronis in the 1st Congressional District, he is a DeSantis person. I think he's still going to be fine. Okay, St. John's, election night results. So what we got from here, we have early votes completely reported. Okay, so these are all early votes and partial vote by mail. Now, the partial vote by mail, the partial vote by mail would be probably all the ones that came in until today. All right, so let's look. So we have 18, 28, 34, about 34,000. We'll get into Marion. I think that's Marion. We'll get there in a second. 34. So yeah, so this is Volusia here. So you see 20,000 and 16,000. So what we have in here in Volusia is basically almost all of what we see in here. But I had those. So let's see, or no, it's Putnam County. Marion's down here. Putnam County. It includes all. Randy Fine, 59%. Now, Putnam County is one he should probably be performing in a lot better. Yeah, I forgot to do the projections by county. Wow. I just accidentally turned on Spotify. Hold on. Jeez. Wow. Hold on a second. I'm gonna grab my jacket. So this is a shock. Again, even if Randy Fine comes out of this thing winning, because those election day votes should be going his way, this is something that Democrats should be patting themselves on the back for. I was just gonna call someone because it's like, wow. Yeah, so let's see. So, of course, in the 1st Congressional District, we don't have anything right now because that is the central time zone. So we are starting to see some of these numbers come down a little bit. Let's see what we have. In Putnam. Okay. So Putnam now has all early votes. Yeah, but look at Putnam, or excuse me, not Putnam, Flagler. But Flagler, Randy Fine's winning, but barely. I expected, okay, what I had for, now again, as I mentioned, what the number I gave you earlier, or before we started, was including election day totals. Okay, so that's what I gave you with including what we have today. We don't have election day totals in, but once all the vote by mail and early vote comes in, I expected Randy Fine to be at about 54% of the votes. Okay, I still expect him to win, but be at 54% of the votes. He's at 48% of the votes. And that is essentially with all of these in. So all of Flagler's early votes are in. All the early votes, so anyone that's reporting now, it's just not Marion. Now, Marion has the second most amount of voters of all the voters. Volusia has the most. Marion, no, actually, interesting. Marion's election turnout has been really low. Huh. Even though it has the second most amount of registered voters in the district, Volusia County being first, of turnout right now, Flagler is second. This is insanely insane. We're seeing a shift. We're seeing a shift. There's just no doubt about that. We're seeing a shift, and in a place where Democrats have no business being ahead in Lake County. I mean, this isn't even like the Claremont area, parts of Lake County. You're talking about up in Umatilla and stuff like that. I mean, you might not even be from Florida or know Florida geography. But I can just say the name Umatilla, and you're like, oh, that's probably Republican because it's called Umatilla. So we're talking about, wow, Volusia. We're talking about, this is insane. Now remember, Flagler and Volusia used to be Democratic counties back in the day. As a matter of fact, if you go back and look at the 2000 recount, when the Democrats cherry-picked what counties that they wanted to count, Volusia was one of the counties they wanted to recount. Okay, so it was Democratic, but I'm shocked. I'm shocked at this. No, Brevard doesn't. Brevard's Jim. Brevard's not in the district. See, and this is what I was thinking, right? So, for those of you who don't know, Randy Fine is an elected. Is he a state senator now? I haven't been watching Florida politics in a while. He was a representative. He might be a state senator now. I'm not sure. He's from Brevard County, so he's running outside of where his residence is. He's not from Volusia or from Lake. Okay, this totally cuts out also. This also totally cuts out Seminole County. So, will early voting be biased? Not this bias. Like I said, with all the early voting, let's see what we have here. With all the early voting that was to come in, I expected Randy Fine to have 54 to 55 even % of that early pre-election day polling, not including the vote by mail ballots that are coming in today. This, I mean, you know, he's 6-7% off that number. But the election day total should bring him close, or should move him ahead. The election day numbers should move him ahead. Oh, he's ahead now. Okay. So that means we're probably starting to get some election day numbers coming out of Lake. Still haven't had Marion. So yeah, actually Josh Wheels at 48. Now we're seeing that number come down. But as I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, what did I say? I said, if the Democrats can keep Randy Fine under 60%, that's going to be a good day for them. If they keep Randy Fine in the 54, 55%, it's going to be an excellent day for them. And if they win it, it's an absolute electoral change. Now we're going to start seeing this kind of move ahead. But it's not the 62% I was expecting, at least not yet. Most of the votes did come in on election day. We'll see how that vote pans out. So, okay, decision desk has called for Randy Fine. Yeah, because as I mentioned, all the votes now that are the election day votes are more heavily Republican. So, as I mentioned, he's going to win. Those numbers that came in early kind of shocked me. I'm surprised we don't have anything from Marion yet. But it does look like now we're starting to get some election day votes, and we should be getting them a little bit faster just because it's just a smaller election. What, 30-some% turnout or whatnot? No, and if anyone's saying that this is a stolen election and talking about Elon and something, that's stupid because the Democrats shouldn't be this close. Okay, not every goddamn election is stolen. I mean, it's getting to the point now that, you know, these, and I did a live stream on it last time, that people are just complaining so much about stolen elections, trying to find every little kernel in a turd and say, oh, okay, look, a stolen election. It gets to the point of absurdity. And it also, and what I hate about it, it gets to the point that Democrats aren't facing why they're losing. They're just saying, the thing is stolen. Well, if you're gonna ignore your problems and not face them, you're gonna have trouble. This is good. This is a really good election result. Now, Florida, it depends on where they count. That they count fast. Go to Palm Beach County. Watch how fast they just drag their heels. Pinellas County, spot on awesome. So see now as the election day results are coming in, you're starting to see this reduction. Okay. I'm looking more at the fine number than I am the Josh Wheel number. Let's keep on watching. Let's see if this thing actually does stay under 60%. So yeah. So good. Good. I love this. Remember, that's 60%. So this is another thing that networks do and other people do that's just stupid. Okay? 58% of votes aren't in. It's not 58% of votes, because the precincts are going to have different amounts of votes. Well, actually, no, actually, to tell you the truth, it could. I'll take that back. It actually could be votes, because all of these counties do report on election day numbers. So this actually can be 58% of votes. I take that back. Sorry, I was wrong there. I didn't think about that. Whereas Wisconsin will probably say precincts reporting. Well, I guess we'll have to wait until Wisconsin does that. So yeah, so we know how many votes were cast in today's election once the polls closed. Yeah, so this is good. This is good for Democrats. Now, any Democrat who came into this thinking that the Democrats were going to win, if somebody went ahead and drank that Kool-Aid, because I know the MSNBC people and all those Cracky Kornacki and people like that were trying to play up this, the Democrats have a shot type of thing. Democrats never had a shot here. They never had a shot here. So they don't have a shot in the first either. So I'm just putting that out right now. But they can make a more impressive footprint in Florida and in other places. This is good. This is good. So yeah, let me go ahead and look at some of what's being said. I think that Randy Fine is going to underperform a lot more than Jimmy Patronis is going to underperform. Now, if Jimmy Patronis underperforms in Florida's 1st congressional district, then we are talking about it's not a Randy Fine problem. It's a Republican problem. Now Jimmy Patronis is just as bombastic. Okay, Jimmy Patronis is like really bombastic and and a jerk. Randy Fine is just like a despicable human. Okay, there is a difference. Oddly enough, there is a difference. So yeah. Let's see what we got. And honestly, to tell you the truth, like, I haven't been watching American politics much, as I've mentioned before. I'm actually looking more at the Storm Prediction Center site as well to see what storms are coming in. So yeah, we're going to get some severe weather tomorrow. Tornado warning issued in Oklahoma, parts of Kansas and Texas. We got a moderate risk tomorrow, which I hope I can chase in the evening. So yeah, this is a good result for Democrats. Now, we don't have much more coming in. So someone's saying Fine is going to win by 20. I'm calling. My projection has him at 62.6. And what this essentially means is that, okay, and this is very interesting. Right now, Randy Fine is at 52.9. Of those who voted overall today, so our overall votes, we should expect about 200,000. Okay. Let me see. As far as Republicans who voted up until 20 minutes until polls closed, which not many more voters would have showed up then. The Republicans were 52.6% of that vote. Okay. He's not getting a lot of those who voted who are independents. The Democrats seem to all, again, it was a partisan race. Not many independents came out, but it does seem like those independents who did come out did break more towards Josh Weil. That's good. Now, it should be said in this part of Florida in particular, usually it includes part of Brevard, part of Seminole, part of Orange, but there are a lot of special elections or upsets that have happened in this part. So Susan Cosmos, you had Anthony Suarez running in the state house, you had Tony Sasso. There was another race a few years ago as well. I think it was a special election. So it just seems like East Central Florida is really good for Democrats in special elections for decades. And then they go on to lose the seat. So now we just got to wait till Wisconsin comes in and whatnot. So we do have a little bit of time to wait. This one, they haven't called it yet, which I think is kind of interesting. I'm going to maybe reload it, see if they had. It's over. I mean, it's over because the only thing you have is Election Day results, and those are going to be strongly for the Republicans. So yeah, let me go ahead and look. Now here's where I'm gonna make a complaint. I'm on here. I complain all the time. I'm gonna make a complaint. Had the Democratic Party of Florida had a stronger apparatus over the last decade, had they been registering voters, had they been trying to go out and work in communities, had they gotten rid of the political consultants that they had for years, had they done all of that and really tried to build a party, this could have been winnable tonight. Had the Democrats done that. But the Democrats in Florida, no, can't do that. Can't do that. Which is kind of a relief for me that some people, like possibly David Jolly, running for governor, I like that because the thing that's in people mention like the way people vote and stuff like that. There is the Democratic Party of Florida is rotten at the core, and anybody who can run that can jettison all those political consultants, all those people, they're going to be the people who rebuild the Florida Democratic Party. 20 years ago, this was a winnable district. Having Volusia and Flagler, this was a winnable district. But not now. And now we're starting to see them go up a little bit more. So we'll see what happens. So now we're starting to see more votes. I'm surprised that because this is going by AP, and I'm surprised AP has not called it yet. I mean, the only thing I can think of, the reason why they're not calling it is because Marion County has about 38,000 votes out there total. And Marion County, like I said, they're the second largest county and have the third largest turnout. And if all of these other numbers that we have seen and show Democrats doing well, all of a sudden what's going to happen is once Marion reports their early vote totals, if they're like what we've seen, they'll bring that number back to Josh Weil. They'll bring a huge shift back to him, but it won't be enough to put him back into the lead fine will continue to move. Let's see if we got any election results from Marion County. Kind of surprised Marion County hasn't posted anything. Unofficial results. Yeah, see, Marion County does. Okay, and they haven't put it in there. Just so you know, Marion County. Let me put it on. See, this is why I sometimes don't like AP. Oh, not Salem, Oregon. Not now. Florida. Okay. Okay, so Marion County already does have results in, but they're not reporting them. So you can see Randy Fine up 52 to 46. So he is up. And you can see that's early votes and vote by mail completely reported. I don't know why they're not putting it in the... Oh, they must have heard me. I'm like, I don't know why they're not putting it in there. Now, that should make it that you project them to winner. Because there's no way... Now all you have is election day votes. And that's it. And we're at 72%. So, no, I mean, I agree that he ran a good campaign. From what I saw, I'm more focused on what Mark Carney's doing right now than anyone in Florida, to be quite honest. But no, it's positive. It is what people want to hear. And, you know, there's a reason why Bernie and AOC are bringing in the crowds that they do. You know, everyone talks about the crowds. Well, get Chuck Schumer out there and see what kind of a crowd he brings. The question now becomes, does this stay under 55%? If that stays under 55% and essentially 53% of those who voted were Republicans, that essentially means almost every Democrat and every independent went for the Democratic candidate. Which brings up another point. This shows how Republican Florida is getting. That if you can win every Democrat and every independent and still not win the election. Now, granted, these districts are gerrymandered in Florida. You need to keep that in mind. So yeah. No, Randy Fine, he's won. He won this election. Question is how much he wins it by. Now I'm looking at, does he stay under 55%? I think election day will bring him over 55%, but not at the 62 that I had him. So yeah, I mean, there's nothing else. I don't know when the polls close in Wisconsin. Maybe somebody in the chat knows. Well, or they probably just have it listed here. Read more. You'd figure they'd say when the polls close, but nope. Oh, there we go. Polls close at 9 p.m. Jesus Christ. So hold on a second. I gotta... I mean, this is an upset. This is one of the problems again with the way in which, if someone says Polymarket in there, I swear I'll ban you. This is one of the problems with betting on everything now. Okay, to me, this is a major victory for the Democrats. They were not expected to win this thing. but they were also expected to lose it by about 8% more than they're losing it right now. This is, to me, a huge win. But some jamoke out there is going to say, oh, because the Republicans are on the W side and the Democrats are on the L side, this is a horrible loss for the Democrats. No, this is an excellent result for the Democrats. And I'm now really interested in a half hour from now to see what happens. Now, I have not put any new numbers in my first congressional district model, but I currently have it from a little under an hour ago. There probably won't be much. Well, there could be. Basically, I have Petronas winning 66.9%. Now, I could put in some new numbers and see what it is, but I ain't going to change it that much. Okay, they've declared Fine as the winner. But this is anyone who thought Fine was going to win, you drank the Kool-Aid from the MSNBC crowd. Just telling you that. You drank the Kool-Aid from the MSNBC crowd. Quit doing that. Quit doing that. Okay, Derek, I'm not going to do anything, you know. But yeah, quit listening to MSNBC, who tells you that we're going to win Wyoming in the next election. That Liz Cheney is a good idea and stuff like that. We weren't going to win this one. We weren't going to win this one. But Democrats are doing pretty damn good. But yeah. Okay, so we should, hold on a second. I want to check something else really quick. Now, somebody can answer me on here. Is Cory Booker still going? Or is he done? Or is he still up there speaking? He's still up there speaking. So, okay, we're going to do something here. We're going to have a little fun. What will be first? And I want you all to, people in the chat, go ahead and put this in. What will happen first? Wisconsin will be called for one of the candidates, or Cory Booker will end the filibuster. Which one do you think is going to be put first? Go ahead and put it in the comments below. I'm kind of interested to see what people say, because I think we're going to watch that. We're going to see how that happens. But yeah. So let's see. We got 44 or 73% of the votes in. Wisconsin Booker. Let's ask Polymarket. Funny. He's starting to lose it. I mean, give the guy credit. Give credit where credit's due. And just to think, I mean, I don't know if Strom Thurmond had the record for a filibuster, but like, this shows how far Strom Thurmond went to like make sure black people didn't vote. I mean, what a horrible racist guy. So yeah, so this looks good. This looks great. Now it's just a waiting game. Now we just wait and see what happens in the first. Like I said, we have nothing there. Expected to be a pretty big win. The question is Randy Fine's unimpressive win? Is it more of a Randy Fine problem or more of a Republican problem? Now, I did not delve into the special election in Wisconsin. I do want to do that. Like I said, almost all my attention right now is on the Canadian election, because I haven't even touched the Australian election yet, which is just going to be, what, a week after the Canadian election. Can't wait to, can't wait to see that. So, Florida is gone for a decade. So someone says Florida's gone. Florida's been gone for 3 decades. I mean, Florida, ever since Jeb won, in 98, Florida's been losing. And again, as someone who knows Florida politics, especially internal Democratic Party politics, it's because you got a bunch of consultants. Just it's a vicious cycle of consultancy that just brings in people and just, you know, sucks off the teat of the Democratic Party donors. That's it. But I think this last election kind of made national Democrats realize, hey, you gotta prove yourself, Florida. And this special election here, as people are talking about, this is Josh Wheel. This is the Central Florida, and this is the Central Florida Progressive Movement. This is not Nikki Fried. This is not the Democratic Party, and it's important to remember that. Nikki Fried will take a victory lap that this election was closer than it should be, but she really had no say in how that would pan out. So hats off to those Central Florida Democrats who obviously worked really hard to make this what it was. If they had some better targeting, they might have won this thing, but it's still a good thing. How can you legally become a Canadian? Do what I am. I mean, I have a master's degree from McGill University in Canadian politics, and I can't even get Canadian citizenship. It's hard. Do what I'm going to do. Get a B2 level en français. Get a B2 level in French, and you can do that. All right. It's like we still have a lot of time to kill before we start getting results in, again, like I said, it was no surprise, and people need to remember this. It was no surprise that Randy Fine was going to win this. It is a surprise that he is significantly under 60%. Significantly under 60%, with 82% of the votes in. Significantly. Let's see what else we have. I'm going to look at Flagler. Oh, yeah, actually, I forgot. I can just go on here. 95%, 95%, 90%. Yeah, so we're just waiting for Marion, essentially. Oh, and Putnam. But Putnam's small in this. It's going to be Marion that we're waiting for. Yeah, so right now it's just kind of a lull until we get to the next one. And then we get to the next one. So yeah. So yes, that is 100% true. Dems seem to always do better when Trump's name is not on the ballot. Some Trump voters will only come out for him. Yes, I made this point throughout the election that, especially in Arizona, you would see polls show people very definitive on if they were going to go for Biden or Trump in Arizona. But then once they asked about the Senate race, you saw more people who were quote unquote undecided. And then the race shifted over to Ruben Gallego, right? So that showed right there, you had a ton of Trump only voters. And again, a lot of people are looking at that nefariously. I don't think that's the case. I think, like I said, I'm sorry for the politically correct people who are on here, but I'm tired of political correctness now. Donald Trump has been able to get the 3 R's, right? The rich, the religious, and the retarded, right? He's able to get the stupid people. He's able to get the rich people. He's able to get the religious people. That's the holy trinity of the Republican Party. Marco, thanks for the super chat. Yeah, learning French is, well, Canada right now has a special stream that if you're a French speaker, that you can get easier immigration into France because of the lowering of the Francophone population. I'm at a B1 right now. I just need to study every day. As a matter of fact, my phone just said study French. I'm not too diligent on that, so I need to be. But right now I'm mainly looking at, will I get Slovak citizenship? So So I don't know what that means. The race shows people in Florida are being turned off by what is happening. Oh, I see what you're saying. Like turned off from absolutely. I mean, this is a victory for Democrats. This is a victory. If you don't think this, again, if you were thinking that Democrats were going to win this, you're drinking the MSC cracky cornacky Kool-Aid. Stop drinking that stuff. Come back to reality. Stop drinking that stuff. Like when I said there are problems in Pennsylvania, and everyone told me about well, what about all the Republicans for Harris movement? Stop drinking the Kool-Aid. Come back. Okay. So anyway, let's see what we got. I live abroad in American politics. Our Monty Python show for me. It is, and I'm not. I'm in the same position. It was when I started really doing these streams. I was in France at the time. Many of you might have seen those early streams where I was in Paris for 5 weeks. It felt like I was watching it from abroad. Like it didn't affect me, so I could actually be able to, look at it and go, oh, it's fine. Then I got back on American soil. I'm like, oh no, crap, this is our reality. And the way that everything's going right now, it's pretty scary. Again, I'm moving money. Let's put it that way. I'm moving money out of my bank accounts here in the United States because I don't like the fact that Elon Musk has all of our account numbers, bank account numbers. He says he needs to close all of these agencies and needs to downsize them. What does having my bank account number from the Department of Education have to do with you closing the Department of Education? Makes no sense. That only tells me they want to do one thing. This looks good. I'm just waiting for the next one. I'm just going to be looking at the chat from this point forward and seeing what people have to say. Oh no, the margins here are not going to be with the votes, even with the stronger votes that are left. Margins are nowhere near. Remember, this race was 6.5%, I think, in 2024. We're not even going to get near that. Not even near that. So this is a good move by Democrats today. I don't think Escambia will. Let me see what I got in Escambia. I don't think Escambia will go blue, but Escambia won't go blue. But it isn't. It is. It's just been the slow-moving county. And if you don't know, Escambia is where Pensacola is, right here. It's just like this slow-moving thing, and it's just taken forever to become Democratic. But it hasn't really gone the other way. I mean, it's Okaloosa and Santa Rosa that make people like Matt Gaetz win. And they're carpetbaggers. Okay, like his dad is in the state Senate. I don't know if he still is, but he was. And he got into the state legislature through his dad. They're like from Broward County, and they're carpetbaggers going up there. They're not even from there. So, okay, this is interesting. So I've recently wanted to get involved with internal party stuff and learn about precinct captains, committee persons, positions like this. Something Dems want to change should focus. People, at least in Florida politics, I don't know about other places. In Florida politics, people become a precinct committee man and committee woman, so they're part of a club, so that they can go out and drink every second Monday of the month, whenever the DEC meeting is, and so on. Like they never like do anything. That's unfortunate. Oh, Marco, thank you again for the super chat. Let's see. I live in Toronto. Always love your vids. Thank you very much. even though I am a conservative, I have conservative with friends and family about my views and hear opposite views like liberals and NDP without hating each other. Well, you know what? That's actually a really good point. The one thing I like about Canadian politics, there have been points in Canadian politics in which I could see myself voting for any one of the parties at one time. Okay, I mean, to be honest with you, if I went back to 2011, I would have voted for Jack Layton's NDP. Probably would have been a big supporter of Layton's NDP. I wasn't a Trudeau fan. A lot of people were not Trudeau fans. I called for him to leave back in 2019. Okay, he should have left a while ago, I think. I don't like the conservative leaders that they have now. Yeah, we'll see. And I truly believe there's going to be a civil war in the Conservative Party in Canada. Okay, I see Danielle Smith, and I'm not a conspiracy theory type of guy, but I do see Danielle Smith and Kevin O'Leary trying to essentially sabotage Pierre Poilievre's campaign in order to fill a power vacuum that would be left with him losing. I think Pierre-Carl Pelado with the Parti Québécois back in 2014 essentially did the same thing. But I think that there's going to be an internal strife in the conservative movement, because because essentially what you have right now is you have Danielle Smith on the MAGA right, and she's MAGA right. You have Doug Ford on kind of the free trade, social liberal left, and you have Pierre Poilievre having to put together a party and trying to thread the needle between those two movements. The problem is it makes it that he can't be forceful regarding what he says. And I don't have it right now, but I literally have it that not only are the liberals in majority territory, the liberals also, their lowest vote threshold right now, or lowest seat threshold right now, is 173. To me, the worst they can do, according to my recent model, is 173 seats, one above a majority. So that's where we are in Canada, I think. Okay, Don Gates is still in the state Senate. See, that's the thing. It's like Florida, it's just, term limits are a joke in Florida because people just go back and forth or leave one and then come back. Okay, Florida First isn't going to be reporting until another 11 minutes from now. So remember, that's the Central Time Zone. And then Wisconsin starts reporting at 9 Eastern. So that is an hour and 10 minutes from now. So we're going to get an election, then an election, then an election. The most boring one will be the first congressional district, I think. Though this is the first shock of the night. Wait, how did Democrats lose big time? I mean, this election was supposed to go 62, 63% Republican. It's 54%. How did the Democrats lose big time? See, this is one of the problems when it comes to people that just don't understand campaigns, election, and just numbers. Okay, when you do 8% worse than you were expected to do, that is bad. But people just look at the who won, who lost. So it's like one of those things that I could say, oh, I believe the Democrat's going to win by 1 vote. But let's say the Republican wins by 1 vote. A lot of people out there that say, oh, the Democrats, did horrible tonight, are the ones that probably say, oh, the person who predicted the Republicans would win by 50%, he's the winner because he picked the Republicans. It's just, people, when it comes to political numbers and all, have just become so damn stupid when it comes to that. Like the people saying the Atlas poll is the most accurate, so it'll have a crosstab saying 54% of black voters are voting for Trump. It's just, it's just insane. I mean, I don't think Doug Ford would leave provincially, but the only person I think they can bring together the Conservative Party in Canada is Jason Kenney. I think he's the only one. So, okay. Okay. Yeah, so here we are. This is a good night for Democrats so far. Now we're just waiting for what we have in the first. It's just a waiting game now. Sorry, it's going to be a little bit boring, but it is a waiting game now. I don't. These are kind of like the warm-up events for the main event, which is going to be the Wisconsin election. Yeah, I don't know if people. Well, Jason Kenney still seems like a. Yeah, he's from Alberta, but he's not. I mean, they voted for Harper. He's from Alberta. To me, he's a more tame Harper. Jason Kenney is. But, like, I don't know anybody else that could bring the two sides together at all. And the question becomes, see, because here's the thing. If you have a power vacuum in the Conservative Party and it's the Daniel Smith wing versus the Doug Ford wing, one of them can only win. What happens to the other two? Does the Conservative Party split again? Are we going to be back to Progressive Conservatives and Reform Party Canadian Alliance? We could be. We really could be. So yeah. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like yeah, this is a really good night for the Democrats so far. So far, let's see what the other ones are. Yeah, 50 plus GOP is under. And again, I thought it was going to be 62. My numbers were 62.6. That means that two things. One, the Democrats just got a ton of excellent data of people who voted today, who are registered Republicans and voted for the Democrat. They just got a ton of data on swing voters. Ton of data. Problem is the Florida Democratic Party does not know how to extract that data. They do not know how to look at data. But they just got a ton of data today. I mean, granted, it's geographically centered, but oh my God, they just got some important data. That's the first thing. The second thing is this is good. And remember, this Volusia part, well, I think it might actually include Daytona Beach. I don't know if it cuts off at Ormond Beach or not. It does not include New Smyrna, it looks like. So yeah. Okay, 83. Okay. You want to put money on it? 83% is the final margin. It'll show a closer margin than 2024. I don't know what you're missing. No. I mean, a closer margin to what? I mean, right now I'd put money on that Fine's not going to get over 60. Okay? We've just gone up to 87. 13% left. You think he's going to get over 60? Much less 66%? With 87% already in? No, not going to happen. Okay. So, oh. Okay, we'll see if he gets over 60. Because, let's see. I'm going to do something really quick. Okay. Equals this minus this. So there's about 27,000 votes still out. Okay? Fine would at least have to win about 70% of those votes that are currently outstanding in order to hit 60. Could be very close. I don't think it'll go over. All right, we got 4 minutes until the first congressional district comes in. Okay, it's just been kind of a wait. I mean, from Marion Putnam, that's fine, but we're still talking about 50%. Putnam doesn't have that much. Okay, Putnam overall is a very small percentage of the vote coming in. Okay. And the turnout in Marion is actually pretty far down. There's still a few thousand there. I don't think there'll be 70%. I don't think it's going to get 60%. People are in favor of Doge cuts. Show me that polling. Now we're at 88%. All right, so 2 more minutes. And again, I don't have, I would speak. I hate doing a live stream where I'm not talking. I just have nothing to add. He will win about 60% at best. See, and this is another thing too. According to my model, Randy Fine was supposed to win 54% of the early votes and wasn't even near that. So even though the election day vote is more Republican, looks like it'll still be further, it'll be less. Yeah, but you know what the funny thing is? This district 30 years ago wasn't a deep red district. Well, even 20 years ago wasn't a deep red district if we were to do this. Volusia County and Flagler County were considered Democratic counties essentially. So yeah. Good point. Dodge, whatever the hell it's called, is so popular that Trump is talking about shutting it down soon, right? Yeah. So see, it's kind of like one of these people saying we're in deep red country now. I don't know what that means. This is one of those people that don't understand how campaigns and elections work. Probably a tech bro with this crypto or whatever. So yeah. Votes speak, but you don't understand that they're 8% less than they were in the regular election. With of those electorate around 53%, he's barely winning. He's winning the Republicans and a little bit of the independents. This is a bad day for Republicans. At least in the Florida 6th. All right, 7 o'clock. It is 7 o'clock. We can now go here. Now, according to, nope. Wait. Oh, okay, they moved it down. I was like, what's going on here? So according to mine, I have not updated my model in an hour and 20 minutes. I have it at 67% for Republicans. I have Jimmy Petronis winning the major party vote, and that's an important thing because that removes the independent vote, winning it 67%. So he'll win 2 out of every 3 votes I have. But are we going to see a surprise like we saw in the 6th congressional district? This guy is the most insane lefty I've seen in a minute. Nobody from the United States has seen in a minute. So it'll be interesting to see where you're from. Whoa. Whoa. That. Well, tonight's turned out to be an interesting night, people. Hold on 1 second. We're not getting okay. So put down the Kornacki Kool-Aid, put down the MSNBC Kool-Aid. We're not winning the 1st congressional district. I'm just telling, just don't set yourself up for disappointment. Democrats are not going to win this, but this is encouraging. Okay, this is encouraging so far. Hold on a second. I need to go to my. Hold on 1 moment. So yeah, this is Santa Rosa County. Santa Rosa has about as many voters as Okaloosa County. Santa Rosa is more Republican than Okaloosa technically in this election. Santa Rosa and Okaloosa should have about the same amount of votes. The fact that that's that low. Okay, here we go. Walton. Now Walton is the smallest county here. Out of the 161,000 votes that I had, an hour ago, only 10,000 come from Walton County. So this is not a surprise. So you can see we're already a little bit higher, but Escambia will be the most Democratic county that we have. All right, let's go ahead and see what happens here. Yeah, see, Joey hit it perfectly. Never expected Dems to take Florida districts, but I was interested in how much support Republicans have lost in these ruby red districts. Yes, it is. In fact, let's go back down to Randy, or no, I guess we got to go up to this one. We're still at 88% there. This is interesting tonight. Well, I have to say this. With these Florida districts going the way they are so far, I mean, we still got to wait a lot more for what's happening in the 1st. But this bodes well for what could possibly happen in Wisconsin. Again, I don't know what election day looks like in Wisconsin, but these first few numbers look pretty darn good. And I think if someone can put this in the chat, like I said, Waltz won District 6 by 66.5. I think that Matt Gaetz also won by like 66.5. I think they might have had it might have been the same. So, yeah. Okay, as far as I mentioned at the beginning, as far as Wisconsin, I don't make a I hate projections. I hate making predictions unless I have the votes all the way up to Escambia. Look at that. Okay, I'm putting in Escambia, seeing what we have for. I love my new HP laptop. It's great. Escambia County elections. I don't want unofficial turnout. I want the actual results. Seriously? Escambia? You have the unofficial turnout? No, what about the actual results of the elections? What morons. Anyway, running it like Elon Musk. Um, this ain't gonna stay like this. Just telling you that right now. But interesting. Interesting. I mean, this shows now, okay, let me go ahead and you know what? As we're waiting for the numbers, I am gonna go ahead and update the numbers for so give me about 2 minutes. I'm gonna update the numbers for the first congressional district in my model, just so I have the correct numbers. All right, so my model went up that with all the votes that have been cast, my model says that of the major party votes, the Republicans and House District 1 should win 67.1%. Right now, we're not even near that. So, what can we figure out? What can we figure out here? What can we say? First thing we can say is, oh my God, this does show that there is some rejection amongst Republicans and Republican-leaning voters against the Trump administration. If you're not polling, we haven't really seen a change there. I think this district will get over 60% for the Republicans. But if it doesn't, for some reason, if you're not, even in special elections, if you're not polling over 60% in these districts, in the Redneck Riviera and stuff like that, you're in trouble. Okay, so now you can see it's a lot closer. Of course, again, Democrats are not going to win this, but these numbers, Okaloosa early vote 53-46. 53. I mean, like, let's see if I can figure. Let me go ahead and look at Okaloosa County. So I want to put this in perspective. Okay? So we got 53-46 for Petronas. Okay? And that's probably early vote and vote by mail. Okay, early votes totally vote by mail, partially, but that's okay. Partially are the ones that are coming in right now. Okay. So to put in perspective, okay, I want to look at the 2024 elections. I want to look at the early vote and vote by mail. See if they actually have it split up. November 5th, general election. Graphical, show detailed. Okay. So, let me go ahead and put this in. Equals some, oops. So I want to put this in here because I don't have the percentages, so I have to like, I have to put the percentages in. Equals. All right. Let me show you how big this is. Okaloosa County, early vote counted, vote by mail, almost all counted except for what has come in tonight, which won't be much. It usually is pretty much almost nothing tonight. You can see here 53% to 46%. Okay? For Okaloosa with those numbers. Those numbers, when it came to Donald Trump against Kamala Harris, Donald Trump won 76%. 76%. Donald Trump won 76% of early vote and vote by mail in Okaloosa County in the presidential election. Jamie Petronis has only won 53% of that. That shows the significance of this drop. Wow. Okay, I mean, wow. Let's see. Let's go back up to 91%, 55. Okay. I mean, this is impressive. Now, again, as I mentioned, a lot of the, okay, so let's go ahead now. Now, let's look at how we might be talking about a game changer in politics. Of those who voted in the first congressional district tonight, in here in Florida, here, let me screw this up. Of those who voted in tonight's election, or early vote, vote by mail, election day, all the votes, 57.7% of those were registered Republicans. At 65% of the votes in, Petronis is only at 51.1%. If that number goes under, if that number is under 57.7% by the end of the counting, I don't think it will be, but it could be. That number is under 51 or 57.7%. This will be the first time in, well, since the Dixiecrat South, that the Republicans had less votes in a district than the registered Republicans who turned out to vote. Sorry, my eye's itching. That is a seismic earthquake. Because this happens in Dixiecrat type of districts where you still have some districts where you have registered Democrats who are from like the Dixiecrat era and stuff like that. But wow. Now, of course, Jamie Petronis is going to win this. He's going to win this. So I'm looking at right now, the number I'm looking at, 57.7. If Petronis gets under 57.7, that means Republicans went and voted for the Democrats. If he's a little bit over 57.7, that means all of the Democrats and basically all of the independents went to the Democrats. Okay, see, now you're getting a little bit more. But with 74% of the vote in already, let's see what we got up here. 91, we're still at 91. let's see, how many votes do we have? Are we expecting? Okay, now let me give you, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're expecting 74,548 votes out of Escambia, unless people were still in line when I put the number in. Let's say 75,000 votes. So we expect about 75,000 votes out of Escambia. In both Okaloosa and Santa Rosa, we each, not combined, but each, we should expect about 43,000 votes from these two. So you can see Santa Rosa is still significantly down, and Okaloosa is significantly down. And as I mentioned, Walton County, it's not, I don't even think it's all Walton County, 11,560. So let's say 12,000 votes we should expect out of there. So this number coming out of Escambia is making this district seem closer. Okay. But that's 57.7. That's our number. That's the number we're looking at today. 57.7. 57.7% of those who turned out to vote in this election are registered Republicans. If Jimmy Patronis gets under 57.7%, that means that more people who are registered Republicans did not vote for Jimmy Patronis. Wow. Yeah, so we don't have much of a. Now personally, I don't. Now the question. Now let's go ahead and start asking this question. Does the success that we're seeing the Democrats have in Florida right now, does that transfer over to Wisconsin? We'll find out in 40 minutes. Possibly it could. It'll be interesting to see what those early numbers are. But this is a pure rejection. A pure rejection, at least amongst independents, of Donald Trump. Now, let's see. The number of registered independents and non-party affiliate and minor party voters was 14.1%. It was 14.1% of the electorate were those voters. So yeah. Looks good. In a few minutes here, I might just take a little bit of a break, a 2-minute break, come back, and we'll talk about what's going on. But let me go ahead and look, because I need to get some eye drops in my eyes. My eyes is going crazy. All right, let's look at Escambia. Actually, let's look at Escambia. So let's put this in perspective here. I've been saying that a lot tonight. Let's go ahead and put it in perspective. As of right now, I need to look at the numbers. Well, let me go ahead and look at the Escambia numbers. Actually, I'll go ahead and put them up on the screen here. All right. So this is the number here. 36,121 people who went out to vote in this election today. 36,121 were registered Republicans. So the question we want to ask ourselves, will this number in Okaloosa, you can see Jimmy Patronis at 30,790 with 90% in, will he get over this 36,121? That's the number I'm looking at. Will he get over that 36,121? And if he doesn't, or if he's right at that number, that essentially means every Democrat was going to vote for him anyway, but every independent, like literally almost every non-party affiliate voter and every minor party affiliated voter went and voted for the Democrats. Or, and this is the reality of it, chances are a chunk of those independent voters would have gone and voted for Patronis, which means a chunk of Republicans won over also. We can't figure this out until we get to the precinct level data afterwards, but man, this is good. This is good for the Democrats. Let's see if we got here 92, 55.4, still looking good there. Again, I don't know if this is going to actually transfer over into Wisconsin tonight, but it's pretty interesting. Let me go ahead and look at what we have. And I need to make sure I'm checking my WhatsApp from. Yeah. So we got Petronas being projected a winner. Okay. That is expected. So let's look at Santa Rosa County. Let's look at Okaloosa County first. Okaloosa County had 26,708 voters that were Republicans. Okay, so they still have a few to go. Let's see what Walton County had. Walton County had 8,230 Republican voters. Okay, so they're whoa. Okay. Let me go ahead and throw up Walton County's turnout here. All right. So this is Walton County. This is really interesting. We got 1,859 registered Democrats, 1,273 registered Republicans. So we're looking about 3,000 votes. If we look at Walton County right now, see the Democrat is almost at 300 or 3,000 votes. Okay, again, let's wait for this number to come in because at 6,905, whereas Walton County's turnout or Republicans voting 8,320. I mean, I don't know if people really understand the significance of that number. And of course, the Republicans were going to win because there's just more Republicans here. But wow. Let me go ahead and look at the chat, see what we got. Oh, so Wisconsin goes. Oh, someone said, Crawford up by 6, but that election hasn't started yet. Okay. I was like, did I miss something? Slotkin's seat could have flipped with these numbers. No, if Slotkin had these numbers, she would have won by a bigger percentage. Again, this is what I'm talking about. It's not like blue win, red lose. There's something called margins. Okay? You see if the margins go up and down. You see if the trends go up and down. It's like, some of the people on there, quit looking at these elections like a Neanderthal. I'm sorry, I just get like friggin' ticked. And people just look like blue win, red lose. You got to look at the fact that, hey, in Escambia right now, you have Jimmy Petronas possibly not even getting all of the registered Republicans going out and voting for him. That's huge. And all the independents going to the Democrats. That's huge. They're not going to win in these districts. Okay, it's like winning in bumblefuck Alabama. You're not going to win there. A Republican is not going to win on the south side of Chicago. It's just not going to happen. Okay? So, I mean, Republicans talking about how this is great. Go ahead and think that. Keep going. Let's see, 92%. Randy Fine's still at 55.4. And Jimmy Petronas is at 55.4. I did not. Now, I will admit, I thought that the Fine one could be closer. Not where it is, but it could be closer. I did not expect this first congressional district to be like this. Did not expect this. And if somehow the Democrat wins Escambia County, I mean, even in a special election, when was the last time a Democrat won Escambia? Earl Huddle back in the 1992. Okay, because I think Scarborough ran in 1994. He was part of the that group at Newt Gingrich. It might have been 1992 the last time the Democrats won Escambia County in a congressional race. This is pretty fun to watch. Oh, I'm sorry, Joey. Didn't mean to go after you on that one. Stefanik, yes. So Joey, you're 100% correct. I was like, Slotkin, no, she would have won. She would have won by more. If Lee Stefanik would have left her seat with this trend going on, she would have, or they would have lost. Remember, that was a Democratic seat back in what, 2014? Or 2014, because I think Lee Stefanik won in 2016. Or did she win in 2014? She might have won in 2014, now to think about it. And then it was Democratic in 2012. Yeah. So yeah. Not good enough, depressing to watch? No, this is great to watch. Okay, if you think that you're going to win in Okaloosa County, I mean, the fact that Okaloosa County is at 60%. I mean, we're talking about a county that runs upper 70% for the Republicans. And we're at 95%. Okay, wait. So let's see. Okaloosa County, Jimmy Patronis, 23,000 votes. And how many registered? It's Escambia. Walton. Oh, I still have Okaloosa here. 26,007. Okay, so I'm going to put these up because these are the numbers we should be watching. Okay. Party. Okaloosa County, 26,708 registered Republicans voted. Right now, Patronis has 23,310 with 95% of the vote in. He might not get all the Republican votes that voted. This is insane. That's why I was like saying 57.7 is the number you want to watch here. 57.7. That's the number. Yeah, I mean, this, you now know why Stefanik was pulled. Okay. And, at the end of the day, unfortunately, like with Kamala Harris, the polls showing that she could win. Okay. Polls are garbage in America now. Polls are not the predictor of everything. Now, not all polls are. Some polls have good intention. But polls like Atlas Poll are just garbage nowadays. Thank you, Jason, for that. I mean, you saw several videos on TikTok and you live in Iowa. I hope those weren't paid ads, because even though you might have liked her, you can't vote for her, right? So I hope those weren't paid. 56. I mean, now, I thought that this one could be under 60. It's weird. They're like, if both of these are under 60, that's huge. If both of these are in the mid-50s, that's huge. Well, see, here's the problem. Polls are inconsistent. That's a perfect way to put them. They're not necessarily always bad. They're just inconsistent. And now that you can't just do random digit dialing like you could back in the 70s and 80s, it becomes more inconsistent. Again, as I mentioned, I think Trump has mobilized three people: rich, religious, and retarded. Okay, he's got enough stupid people out there to like the knuckle jagging Neanderthals that live around me with the Trump flags that go me vote Trump, me no vote, me only vote Trump, me no other people. I mean, he's got a lot of those voters, and as I mentioned on my Substack, please go ahead and subscribe to my Substack down below. And if you want to support the channel, please become a paid member of the Substack. It's only like $6 a month. It'd be great to have you on if you want to support the channel. If you go down, if you look at Michigan and Wisconsin, you saw so much voter drop off. And a lot of people are saying, oh, this is nefarious. This is just showing, cheating. And it's not showing cheating. I think he just mobilized a certain group of people who are just dumb to just go in there, vote Trump, and leave. Okay? So, yeah. And no, I'm not a politically correct person, which is why I'm an independent again. I'm not a Democrat. That, politically correct crap I can't deal with. Yeah, I did not expect the first to go this way. I thought there was a potential for the fifth to or sixth to maybe do that. But I was like, no, this is 60 some percent. And it could be well, not really. I mean, I would like to see, I'm going to see over here if I got more numbers from Escambia. I mean, Escambia, now they finally got unofficial results, not unofficial turnout. No, Escambia still has what we have. Okay, scrolling speed, 0. Don't do that scrolling stuff. But Escambia has 63 of 80 precincts polling or reported. So I have a good chunk of precincts reporting. Let me see if they show a map. No. So I'd like to see where those votes are come. Oh, maps. Here we go. Maybe press the thing that says map on it. Oh, now according to their map, it says they have. According to their map, it says they have no precincts reporting. So who the hell knows? All right, so this is looking good for the Democrats tonight. So we're at 193,000 votes. So to that person who wanted to say that Fine would get 60, you still feeling confident about that now? Okay, when we're only going to have about 200,000 votes counted? Okay, you think 60? No, he's not going to get 60. But again, I did not. And as I mentioned earlier, Petronas is just as big of a jerk. But, yeah, he's just as big of a jerk. But, like, Randy Fine's just like a disgusting human, to be honest. All right, so we got a half hour before we have the next election. So, what I'm going to do, I don't know how this works. It does work like that. I'm going to take a 2-minute break. I will be right back. I don't have my little box here where I can say be back shortly. I'm going to take a 2-minute break. I'm going to keep this up. I got to put some eye drops in. We'll be back to talk about this. So 2 minutes and I will be back. All righty. So, back from my eye break. I haven't done this in a while, so my eyes, I think, get kind of dry. Let's look. So, we still don't have much more from Escambia. We're getting closer to that 57.7% at 95. So, let's put it this way. The magic number for Petronas, 98,828 Republicans voted in this district. Will he get that number? Will he get that number? Now let's go up to, okay, so Randy Fine, for example, to put it in perspective, 103,200, I did update the numbers, I think. 103,223 registered Republicans voted. He barely got more than the amount of registered Republicans, but it actually looks like Petronas might actually do worse. So let's see. We have 164,000. We should be expecting 171,386 votes. Okay. Up here in the first congressional district, we have 193,000. We should be expecting 196,300. Okay. So we'll see what happens there. We'll see how that works. Let me go ahead and look at some of this. I mean, I can't necessarily say what happens in Florida happens in Wisconsin, but if this transfers to being nationwide and being in Wisconsin, the Democrats win tonight in Wisconsin. But on the other hand, that is more of a targeted election, whereas I think the Republicans were just expected to win in both of these congressional districts. So who knows how much effort by the Republicans were put into these. We'll see. But yeah. Any more special elections coming up? I don't know. I mean, literally, I totally forgot these elections were happening a week ago. Okay. I've been focused so much on the Canadian election and trying to now get into the Australian election. I just have not been paying attention to American politics, to be quite honest. So yeah. So what I say, 98,828. Let's see if that number gets that high. This Escambia will probably eventually flip red on this map, kind of like what we see here with Volusia. But look at Volusia, 50.6 to 48.7. That's pretty impressive. Pretty darn impressive. All right. But this one's going to be the next big one. And as I mentioned, it is we'll go back to the Florida one. As I mentioned, it's a nonpartisan election, but everybody knows who the partisan choices are, right? Going in and looking at the model today, the Democrats seem to be doing a little bit better than they did in 2024 in the presidential race. Now, here's the thing. They really only need to do a little bit better to win. Now, we'll see what happens on election day. Could a lot happen today? Possibly. We don't know. This is the one thing about my models today is I said that this was going to be, my model has a 67.1. My model is off by over 10%, over 11, which shows there is a historic shift happening in these elections. Would have been nice if that shift happened 8 months ago. Better late than never, but it'd be nice if it would have happened. Jason, thank you very much for the super chat. Do you think the national attention on particularly the 6th race may have shifted that one more red, making Florida one look more impressive? Maybe. I mean, you can't rule anything out. But again, back to Florida politics, Jimmy Petronas is a real piece of work. Not as bad as Randy Fine, but not much better. Let's put it that way. Um, let's put it this way. Randy Fine is more like Elon Musk. Or no. Jimmy Petronas is more like Elon Musk. And Randy Fine is more like Marjorie Taylor Greene, but a tad bit more racist. That's how I would say it. Yeah, let me see what Escambia has on their website. Well, Democrat might win Escambia. Okay, so we are at 72,857 votes counted. Now, I think I have Escambia up here. So you can see we have 74,594 votes. Okay, so I have less than 2,000 votes left to go. Yeah, the Democrats going to win Escambia because there's not enough votes out there right now. There's not enough votes out there right now for Jimmy Petronas to actually make the difference. So the Democrats are going to win Escambia County. Unless there's some other votes. Okay, this says that 74,594 and the ones counted 72,857. Yeah, Democrats are going to win Escambia County. Wow. That's something that's big. That is something that a lot of Democrats who actually know Florida politics have been waiting to see for decades. Okay. Trump got 59% in Escambia. Yeah. Can you possibly be more racist than Marjorie Taylor Greene? Don't push that question too much. Yeah. So okay, so let's look at Petronas. So Petronas has 34,953 votes. The amount of registered Republicans who voted in there 36,121. That means Republicans voted. That means if we make the assumption that all the Democrats voted Democrat, let's say all the Democrats voted Democrat, and let's just say for argument's sakes all the Republicans and all the non-party affiliate and others voted as well, that means a certain small little slice of these Republicans went over to the Democratic side. Now the real likelihood is that this number is probably a lot less and this number is probably a lot more. We had a number of Republican defectors today. I have been very critical. We do have, in today's election, we do have a Republicans for the Democrats movement. That is true. It's not so we didn't have it with Harris. None of the polling borne that out, but we do have it here. How many minutes do we have until Wisconsin? Because I'm really excited about that now. 47%. Now you see why they pulled the plug on Stefanik. Okay, she wouldn't have been running. She would have been in the UN, but they could not have won that seat. So you see why they pulled the plug on it. Yeah. So this is, so Democrats will win Escambia. I mean, unless the only way they might not is if they maybe don't have all the vote by mail ballots tabulated. So they had to be in by, so they should have been run through the machine and counted as far as being voted. Should be. But maybe they're not 100% yet. So we're at 48 over. Let's see if that number changes. No, that number's not changing. So that to me tells me that all of the votes are in. Yeah. So there you go. Escambia County will be won by the Democrats. The Republicans do not have enough votes to win it. And And wait, so what does Petronas have? 34? Yeah, and Petronas is actually going to win less votes than the number of registered Republicans who actually voted. Wow. We, I mean, and I'm not joking. I've been doing this for since 1992, and I have never had a county ever that had less Republicans voting than or the Republican number being lower than the amount of Republicans voting ever in my 30 some years of doing this. I mean, that's how historic of a shift is. We are seeing something that I have never seen in my life doing this election after election after election. So yes, the Republicans win, but wow. Now to put to go ahead and mention this, 71,146, only 48,343 Democrats, registered Democrats, voted in this race. So we're getting closer, that 96,000. Again, let's see if he stays under 98,828. Technically, that would make him, let's see. Yeah, so we only got a few thousand. We're essentially done with these. So, as I mentioned, don't drink the cracky cornacky Kool-Aid. You know, the MSNBC people saying that we could possibly win these things. We were never going to win these things. Don't look at the elections. And yeah, I'm coming at it from a Democratic perspective, even though I'm an independent but want Democrats to win. Don't assume we're going to win these. Okay, because everyone hears about Pennsylvania and they think it's going to go to Florida. No, it never was. This is good, though. Don't take away from the huge gains that were made today. And I'm surprised. Now, another caveat I do want to say is this is a special election, but even throwing the special election aside, the fact that Petronas gets less votes than the amount of registered Republicans, it doesn't matter what the turnout is. That is huge. That is enormously huge. All right, I'm going to go to chat as we're still waiting 9 minutes until the closing of the polls in Wisconsin. So far, so good. Don't let us down, Wisconsin. Don't let us down. I thought Petronas was going to get 67% of the vote according to my model. I did not see this. So you know what I think this really means? I think this means no Republicans, no Republican in Congress is going to be appointed to anything anymore. They got to keep those seats. Okay, so how many registered Republicans were actually, hold on a second. How many registered Republicans are actually in which district? Okay, so I'll go ahead and say the amount of registered Republicans in the first is 311,519 as of the book closing for this election. In the sixth, the amount of registered Republicans is 273,387. Now, those don't mean nothing if you don't know the overall number. So put in percentages. Let's look at the first because it's interesting. Of all the registered voters in the district, 55% are Republican and 21% are Democrat. Of the electorate that we had in today's election, 57.7% were Republican. Okay, so that's 2%, 2.7% more than the overall registration. But the Democratic number was 28.2%, so 7.2% higher. Okay, and then that means the independents became a lower proportion of the electorate. So there were technically more registered Republicans as part of the electorate than there are registered Republicans as part of the overall voters in this congressional district. Same thing with the sixth. So if we look at the sixth, 48.9% of all the registered voters in the 6th congressional district are Republicans. The turnout was 52.6%. Okay, so it's pretty good. Yeah, Patronus is going to be Patronus's numbers. So we got 168,592. The amount of expected votes come in, unless they count provisionals, and they shouldn't because it's not a close race. The amount of votes are expected 171,386. Let's see. Wait, 168. Okay. 71. Mathematically, he could still get more votes than there are registered Republicans. Mathematically. Highly unlikely. Highly unlikely. Good. Okay. Okay, what were the hopes for tonight? Before we get into the Wisconsin race, and I don't have any hopes for the Wisconsin race. Okay, and the reason I don't have any hope, I don't mean I don't have any hopes is for Democrats win. I don't have what can I say would be good or bad, because I don't get election day numbers from Wisconsin. I only have the early vote numbers. The early vote numbers show it being slightly better for the Democrats, or for the democratically endorsed candidates, by maybe 1.5% compared to Kamala Harris. And that's really all you need in Wisconsin to win. Okay, don't know what election day is going to do. In these, let me just go back to what I was saying. I was basically saying in the 6th congressional district, if the Democrats keep the Republicans under 60%, that's a good night for the Democrats. If the Democrats keep the Republicans in the mid 50%, that's a great night for the Democrats. And if the Democrats win these districts, then it's a seismic shift. And we are kind of really in that great night. And in the 1st congressional district, possibly tad bit seismic shift. Now, in this race, the 1st congressional district, I expected the Democrats to win 67%, or excuse me, let me go back, the Republicans to win 67% of the vote. They're winning 10% less right now. Okay, I said a good night, like an earth-moving night for the Democrats in this district, is if Jimmy Patronis got into the mid to upper high 50s, around 57%. This is earth-shattering. Okay, there's never any chance for Democrats to win these. But now we're getting to Wisconsin, my friends. We're getting to Wisconsin, and we will see. I'm trying to get citizenship to Slovakia. That's where my family is from originally. My mom's side of the family. My last name's Trotter, not necessarily the most Slavic of names. But yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. So let me go ahead and look at what we got. So we only have a few. Oh, by the way, if you're just a jerk on the channel, I'm just going to hide you from the channel, just so you know. So, I don't even know why you even try. Just, yeah. Well, it wasn't going to be solid turnout just for the fact that, let me get over to Wisconsin so we can prepare for it. Never was going to be solid turnout just for the fact that it's a special election. They were going to be pretty low. So yeah. Let's see. Um, any thoughts on what this means in the midterms? An election, that's a long time from now. Okay. Um, so we'll see. Would you come back with a Democratic government? So I don't know. I don't know what that means exactly. If you want to expand on that, please do so. You're welcome for all those who have been saying it. Um, all right. Is it 1 minute? 1 minute until polls closed. According to my little clock, it says 7:59, and that's based on the whatever. Um, Let me turn on. Well, no, I'm not turning on anything. I'm not. I can't watch MSNBC on election night. I can't. I'm sorry. I can't. I can't stand Steve Kornacki. Um. So yeah. Um. A jerk for calling you out. Grammar might not be your strongest suit. I do have some. I do teach English as well. Do have some grammar books here. If you want me to go ahead and get some for you, the Murphy books are great. That probably would help you out with grammar. All right, here we go. 8 p.m. Let's see how many we. Here we go. Let's see what happens. Steve Kornacki is a journalist who doesn't do numbers. He's a journalist. Okay, so that's why I don't like him. That's why I can't stand him. He's a journalist. Um, he doesn't even have. I mean, I'm not trying to be an education, formal training stuff. He's one of those people who states the obvious and then sells Kool-Aid on MSNBC to make people think that there's possibilities that the Democrats could win in the 6th congressional district in Florida. I he's gotten better, I'll admit, but he's not good. Okay, not even nearly as good as what you get on the BBC. Anthony Green, if you want to talk about somebody who's really good, Anthony Green at ABC in Australia, he's really good. This is unfortunately going to be his last campaign. Unfortunately, so yeah, he just did the Western Australian race. All right, let's go. Let's see what we got here. I will. Is Steve Kornacki just an entertainer for the sake of ratings? Yes. I'm sorry, but yes, I'm going to turn my television on to CNN. The Clinton News Network. Oh, Surrendra Obama. Now, if the Democrats do lose this election in Wisconsin, it's Biden's fault, right? And Obama and probably Lee Harvey Oswald. I'm sure the Republicans kind of have all of their excuses. I mean, honestly, Republicans with the. I'm surprised you're not, blaming Grover Cleveland for shit. Okay. Right. Yeah. I'm keeping this on to see if they get numbers before we get them here in Wisconsin. But polls are closed. Let me just go over. Yeah. So for that person that said Fine was going to get over 60%, how do you like them apples? All right. And speaking of Apple, we have Appleton, Wisconsin, right here. All right. So now it's just a wait and see. Let's see what happens with this bad boy. What do you guys think? I will not watch Fox News, and I don't watch MSNBC. Because MSNBC, yeah. No. Oh. I mean, if it's D7 tonight, if Democrats win by 7, that's pretty good. Let's see what's happening in Florida. 96. That's just insane. Okay, 160. All right, so yeah, go ahead and put in the chat. What do you think is going to happen in Florida? Because right now, or in Wisconsin, because right now, apparently, Wisconsin don't have their stuff together like Florida does, getting those early vote by mail already counted. There's a ton of early vote in this one. You know, Wisconsin County should have some stuff up by now, but nope. And by the way, just want to say, if you are interested, please, I'll do my little plug now while people are here. Go to my Substack, which is Voting Trend. So it's votingtrend.substack.com. You can go ahead and I talk about other countries as well. I talked about the 6th Congressional District, but there are other things I've done, such as, you know, how Donald Trump won Michigan, for example. So please go ahead and join that, subscribe. It's free. But please, if you want to support the work that I do and become a member on Substack, it'd be greatly appreciated. So this is what I'd like to do to bring this to you. So let's go back to Wisconsin. Want to do that little plug for Substack. And I got a new Substack coming out that I'm going to be doing with Carter Krishnaiyer. It's called The 11th Province. It is 2 Americans' perspective on Canadian politics. Okay. Now, it's not about how Canadian politics impacts America. I don't care about that. It's just talking about Canadian politics because this degree behind me is from McGill University, a master's degree in Canadian politics. So I'm kind of like, that's what I love. Like if it's a D plus 7, that wouldn't be like 57-43. Okay. That would be a plus 14, right? But it does make sense that it technically should be a plus 7 in that case, because if you subtract 7%, you also increase 7%, right? And then you're at an even point. So yeah. Oh, later tonight, interview with Cory Booker. Is Cory Booker done? Does anyone know if Cory Booker has finished? Let's go back over to Florida. Okay, Wisconsin, put down your Culvers. I love Culvers. Okay, but put down your Butterburgers. Start counting votes. Okay, so Wisconsin beat Booker. I mean, granted, Wisconsin just started now. Yeah, that just amazes me. Okay, he finished at 25 hours and 4 minutes. Is that a record? I don't know. Canadian politics, I love Canadian politics. I love it way more than American. I mean, I only do American because I just know America because I was, born in this godforsaken country. So it's like I'm obligated to do it. But Canadian politics, I love. And the good thing about Canadian politics, it's so volatile, right? The lead that the Liberals have under Mark Carney right now could disappear in a heartbeat, right? That's how much elections change. Though the increase in the Liberals that we've seen since Carney took over and the writ was dropped and the election was called, I've never seen an increase in American politics or Canadian politics this swift. It's unbelievable. So yeah. All right. So Yes, he did beat it. I love that because I love that Cory Booker, a black man, beat the filibuster record of a man who wanted to make sure that people like him couldn't vote. Good for him. Um, 36 degrees in Sheboygan. Ah, you know what? I didn't even think about this. I didn't even think about this. We are talking about a Wisconsin election, right? I'm gonna be kind of a dick here. All right, here we go. Okay, we're doing a Wisconsin election. Got to put my Bears hat on. Um, Not the best team in the world, but I just got to do it. What do you think of Rahm Emanuel in 2028? He would be like a person I would probably, I would just like, if it's Rahm Emanuel versus JD Vance, just give me a cyanide capsule, please. Really. Um, what province would you move to? The Great White North. That's where my love started. When I was a little kid and I listened to Bob and Doug McKenzie's Great White North album. Oh, here we go. Okay. Um, that's one precinct. 913 to 5. That's nothing. In Waukesha County, that's like one precinct. So people don't worry. Don't It's not gonna be like that. I'd easily move back to Montreal. I love Montreal so much. Um, I'd probably move to the West Island of Montreal, just because I can use more English there. To be honest, uh, no, not the Michigan Bears. So, all right, so we got our first votes in from one precinct, probably. Reminds me of the Canadian election. What was it? 2000 and might have been 2006, 2008. Where like in one of the writings they had the Marxist Leninist Party, because there was one precinct voting that was in the lead, and that was pretty funny. And Peter Bariansbridge is like, no, I don't think the Marxist Lenin Party is going to win this thing. So I don't want to go to BC, and I'll just keep it at that. I don't want to go to BC. Um, yeah, but Montreal is my favorite city. No, Montreal is my, well, it might be my third favorite city. My favorite city is technically Paris. Okay, but I was in Vienna a few weeks ago, and I liked Vienna. But I lived in Montreal for 2 years. I know Montreal well. Um, I'd move to Montreal. I really would. Let's go ahead and see what's happening in Florida right now. Oh, here we go. More votes, more votes. See, it's more coming in from Waukesha. That that's going down. Okay. Waukesha should have a lot more votes than that. So don't think, even though you were in the thousands now, Waukesha should have a lot more votes. As a matter of fact, let me look at how many early votes were cast in Waukesha. 136,353. Okay. So 10,000 were not even at 10%. Okay. And this is one of the more Republican counties. Okay. So we got some Democrat. La Crosse. Okay. So La Crosse, again, Democratic county, very few votes in. How many should we, okay. Early votes in La Crosse was 20,000. Okay. So how many do we have there? So yeah, so we're a little over 10% there. But again, I don't know how many people voted by mail. So I mean, I've never been to Calgary, but I would consider looking at it. even though Calgary, or even though Alberta has a crazy woman as premier. I don't hate anyone. I just don't like liars. No, I hate somebody. I hate when somebody is getting my personal information so we can shut down an organization. It makes it now that, like, even though I have to contact the IRS, it's impossible to contact the IRS because they're firing people. Yeah, fuck that guy. Um, how dare Elon uncover hundreds of millions of wasteful spending? You don't know what he's uncovered because he hasn't released what he's uncovered. So unless you're privy to it, unless you're one of those 12-year-olds helping him on the computer, you have no idea what's going on either. Okay, so it seems like Waukesha is mostly coming in right now. And as you can see, we're only at 7%, and La Crosse is only at 7%. See, and this is what I'm talking about. Now it says votes. Unless the New York Times knows how many election day votes there were, this should technically be precincts, not votes. So yeah. All right, so here we are. We're just waiting for Wisconsin. Let's see what we have. Petronas, 169,000. So what I'm gonna do really quick. So 171. Okay. 69. Still technically can get more votes than registered Republicans, technically, but he'd have to like literally win every vote. It still could happen. All right, let's go ahead and look at, I mean, that first congressional district and Escambia being there. Wow. Let's see. Do we have anything more in Wisconsin? Well, Wisconsin's just piling up the Waukesha votes, which isn't saying much. Okay, let me Waukesha went 59% for Trump, 39% for Harris. Oh, Kenosha, that's a Republican county. Actually, my family is right across right across the border in Winthrop Harbor, Illinois, the most northeast that you can get. Only 6% of the votes, but as Susan Crossford is winning in Kenosha, that's a good sign. That's a really good sign. But again, we're at 6% of the votes. Doesn't mean much. I'm going to wait for these to come in. We're at 2% of the vote, people. Don't look too much into that. So I guess everyone's talking about Elon Musk. It's weird. People are talking more about Elon Musk than they're talking about Donald Trump. All right. I'm sorry. I am keeping an eye on this number to see if it ever gets over 98,828. That's one of the big numbers I'm looking at today. No, but see, here's the thing. You don't know what he's cutting because he hasn't released it. And technically, he has not cut anything. Okay, because the money was already allocated. Okay, so we got some more. Fond du Lac County, 65%. What did that go for Trump in the last? 64%. So 65% is right where it should be. Oh, here we go. Oh, Madison. Madison with only 3% of the vote in. You see how Madison just like Dane County just snapped that right back into reality, right? Okay. I mean, well, because this should show you Winnebago County was a 52-47 county for Trump. So the fact that we're already at 9% and it's 66 at 34, that's good indication, good sign. But Waukesha County is also a good sign for the Republicans. We're starting to see some more counties come in. So let's see what happens. Again, it's just taking forever for this to come in. All right, so what I mean, we do have some big counties. We do have Waukesha, we do have Dane, we do have Kenosha. We don't have Milwaukee, we don't have Racine. There are a few others like kind of like Door County and others that kind of might be like bellwether type of things. We don't have those yet. So very early days in Wisconsin. Indications are, I would say, from these numbers, is it can look close. So has it necessarily transferred what's happened in Florida, transferred to Wisconsin? Maybe not yet. But we are getting some more Republican counties coming in first. No, I wouldn't say Waukesha isn't a polar opposite. Waukesha is one of the counties that went slightly more Democratic this time. It's moving more Democratic. I would say Dane County is much more Democratic than Waukesha is Republican. Yeah. Let me see. So why does high turnout help conservatives? Please go ahead and put that down below. What data is there to back that up? Because I truly don't believe that you can say high or low turnout really benefits anyone. No, actually, now AP has more. Okay, now we're in a close race. There we go. It didn't take that long. So here we go. Now votes will start coming in. So let's see. There we go. So Door County, 55%. That's a good indication for Democrats. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm not going to pronounce half of these. Michigan and Wisconsin, I'm not going to pronounce half of the county names. Kenosha has swung back to the Republicans. I don't think that's a surprise. From Boston, good to see. Need to go out to Boston. I really want. I love that city. Downtown's a little crammed, but I love Boston. All right. Let's go. Let's see how this bad boy plays out here. So, Dana's at 9. Milwaukee hasn't reported. Waukesha, I believe, is where the Republicans will. I mean, let me look at the. I'm pretty darn sure that's where the Republicans get the most raw vote in the state. Yeah, Waukesha is going to be where the Republicans get the most raw votes in the state. So if you're a Democrat right now, you're kind of hoping that Waukesha reports as much as they can early, and it's still a close election. And that means, okay, they got to get a lot more in those smaller counties. This is good. This is good so far for the Democrats. This is good. Okay, close, but you're on the right side. Mm. Okay, so still looking good. Let's see where these votes are coming from. I'm really looking at Madison. Of course, nothing. Kind of wondering if Racine will go. If Racine will go blue. It's like if Racine and Kenosha go blue, those are those are some that I would be looking at. If Racine and Kenosha go blue, that's you're a Democrat. You like those because those are kind of your 52-48 slightly Republican counties. That becomes your margin, in all honesty. So what's the website? I'm just on New York Times website. So that's it. I'm just on the New York Times. Yeah, but in the last election, Racine and Kenosha were essentially the same. Yep, Kenosha back in the blue. If I mean, even if it's this small of a blue, if Kenosha stays in the blue tonight, that's a good sign for Democrats. We have nothing from Racine yet. Crawford just took a big hit. Must have been, yeah, I was going to say that had to be a chunk of vote from Madison because I don't see anywhere else that would have come from. So, Susan Crawford in the lead. For you, for those of you who are saying 7%, here you go. Granted, we're at 11% of the vote in, but here you go. I'm going to flip over to Florida really quick, see what this, he's getting closer. Neither one of these are going to be over 60%. That is amazing. I mean, if this thing ends up, no, hold on, I'm just going to, yeah, so 19% of Madison's in. I don't like that. I mean, unless somebody's in Wisconsin knows how fast Madison counts, to me, I want, oh, whoa, Waukesha's gotten a little lighter. 34% in, 60-40. It's still a little bit high if you're the Democrats, okay? Or the democratically endorsed candidate, I guess I should say. It's a little bit high. Okay. I mean, these are no surprises. So I wouldn't say there's any surprises in Wisconsin. I mean, a few. Door County going toward the Democrats. That's a little bit of a surprise. Kenosha, actually slightly Democratic. That's a surprise. I shouldn't say Democratic because technically it's not a Democrat versus a Republican, but for the sake of the fact that they're saying it and the colors on the map are what they are, I'm gonna still say that. So yeah. Yeah, Waukesha is not going blue. But does it go 56, 56-44 maybe? I mean, that's not out of the realm of possibility. Let's say this is, I think, usually a Democratic county. No, actually it went Republican last time. Yeah, it actually, Trump actually did win it. Okay. A lot of these numbers right now are kind of mirroring the presidential election numbers. Again, That's mirroring the presidential numbers with 100% counted. Okay, we're starting to see some of these rural counties come in now. Or no, that was Dodge. Okay, so this is one of the issues that Democrats have is Milwaukee will be good, but these western and northwestern, northern counties can be very, very Republican, though they have been switching more to the Democratic side. So they will be a darker blue. It's Racine, Kenosha, Milwaukee. This is what I'm looking for right here to see if these are all blue by the end of the night. That's something you would want. So Democrats are up right now, or the democratically endorsed candidate is up right now. Door County is called Little. I mean, is that Little Illinois? It's because they hate the Packers too. And they live right. They gotta live right next to them. Those people with their cheese heads. Sorry. I'm gonna talk shit about the Packers, except Bears fans have really no reason to talk shit about the Packers because you know, we're horrible. Oh, that's a big increase. Is that another? That's another Dane County drop. So we're seeing these Dane County drops. So it doesn't seem like they're counting like each as they come in. Seems like a load of precincts will come in, there'll be a drop. Then a load of precincts, then there'll be a drop. What I'm kind of interested in, I don't know Wisconsin election websites as well. I want to see if it says voting by method. It doesn't. That's unfortunate. All right, so Greene County. All right, good. What did Greene County do for, let's see, the Democrats last time? Oh, wow, Greene County was, since it's usually a Democratic county, it was 49-49. And with 28% of the vote in, it's 63-37. That's good. Let's look at Waukesha again. Staying at 60-40. Dodge, yeah. Is Dodge where they'll get their second most amount of votes, the Republicans? No, I thought they would have, but no, it doesn't really have that many. I'm kind of surprised. I thought it would have had a lot more, being that close. No, it's 33,000. So that's going to be Waukesha is the one, and in Washington, those are going to be the two. The Waukesha and Washington are going to be the two kind of where the Republicans are really going to make up their vote. Okay, it looks like we got some more in La Crosse there, 95%. And what did La Crosse? Let's see what La Crosse did in the last presidential election. So to put in perspective, Democrats won La Crosse 54% to 45%. La Crosse now coming in at 63%. And remember, they got 54% with neighboring Tim Walz on the ballot. These are good numbers. These are really good numbers. We're only at 16%. Can't say anything yet, but it's looking good. It's looking good. I'm going to go over to Florida a little bit, see if there's anything happening. No. Good night for Democrats in Florida. Really, really good night for Democrats. But now we're just focused on Wisconsin now. And by the way, just want to do a little plug again. If you want to help out the channel, if you want to go to what I usually focus on, that is my Substack, which is Voting Trend. So votingtrend.substack.com. You see it down below the map, right? Or not the map, what I have up here right now. You see it down below in the banner. Please go ahead, subscribe to that. It's free to subscribe. I go ahead and talk about elections from all over the world. I'm talking a lot about Canada now. I will be talking about Australia. If you really want to support the channel, you can become a member here on YouTube, but I highly recommend that you go to Voting Trend and become a paid subscriber. It really, really does help, and it really is helping me build this, as well as a new Voting Trend, or a new Substack coming out called The 11th Province, which focuses on two Americans talking about Canadian politics. But let's get back to American politics. There we go. Looks good. Now remember, as more of these rural counties come in, that will chip away. We still don't have Milwaukee. We still don't have Racine. Those are big. Oh. Well, no, Eau Claire didn't flip. Eau Claire has always been, or not, yeah, it's been Democratic, but what did it have last time? Eau Claire, 54.5% last time. So now 60%. Okay? You're talking about some of these Democratic counties becoming more Democratic. Now, let's see. I want to check something. 3.4 million. It'll be interesting to see if the Wisconsin political observers consider this to be a high turnout race. Holy shit. Okay, so that is Milwaukee coming in at 61%. So we still got a lot out of Dane. That's Milwaukee coming in at 61%. 72 to 28. What did Milwaukee do last time? 68 to 30. So again, you just need to move those margins a little. It doesn't matter how much you win by. It matters that you win at the end of the day. And Democrats they're looking good right now. They're looking good. And you still have more coming in. Still have a lot of Dane. You might have a lot of Dane still at 32. Milwaukee, I mean, we'll see what Racine does. See if Racine flips. Kenosha staying very close. That's good. Dorr, I mean, it's a smaller county, but it's one to always see if how it flips. Eau Claire definitely doing well. La Crosse is doing well. It's looking good so far for Democrats. Hey, that's the thing I could say. I am a Bears fan, and it is what it is, but I could be a Lions fan, right? I have to joke about that. So yeah. So I joke about the Lions, but I don't joke about the Red Wings. No. Red Wings, I don't care if we're not in the same conference anymore or whatever. The Red Wings are still the Red Wings. Got my Blackhawks stuff up there. Okay, so Rock County looking good. Kenosha now pulling out a little bit more for the Democrats, which would indicate to me that Election Day voters might have been a little bit more Democratic this time. This is looking good. Today, if you're a Democrat today, I mean, we're at 30%, right? So wait, Waukesha moved left 48 or 58 to, yeah. Oh, so in the presidential election, yeah, like there are very few counties that made a left. Like Waukesha made like the tiniest, like 1.2% shift left. Not like the counties we saw in and around Atlanta. But so, holy shit, Crawford is now at 59.8%. Let's see how much of Milwaukee is now coming. 61. Okay, now Dane County's at 49. Now, those go up, and if they top out, then you're going to start seeing others come down because of rural votes. Okay, so just be aware of that. But Racine hasn't come in yet. Waukesha starting to go down a little bit, 58%. So that's less than what it was in the presidential race. It was 59-39. So that's good. This is looking good. Cory Booker's on CNN. Yeah, I got another water here. All right. You will start seeing these drop as soon as these start topping out. But I mean, Dane County's only at 50. Milwaukee is there. I'm assuming since Kenosha's gone 53-47, Racine will go at about that margin. My prediction: if the Democratic endorsed candidate wins Kenosha and Racine, they win the election. That's just what I'm going with. Yes, I have to diss the Red Wings. I'm a Blackhawks fan. And it doesn't make me feel good that, like, we have a player like Chris Chelios, he goes to the Red Wings. Got a player like Patrick Kane, he goes to the Red Wings. Okay, DeBrincat, that's hard for me to handle. All right. I mean, I'm not gonna go. I said that the Democrats, according to early vote, could do slightly better. And I said I didn't know what election day votes would look like. So it's still, as Bartholomew Smith says, way too soon. It's important to remember that. Way too soon. I don't know how long it takes for these smaller counties to report. No, I don't think it would be disappointing if Democrats lost it by less than 11 because, different elections have different dynamics, I think. So I think we have to put that in perspective as to everything. But yeah, I'd like to see some of these other counties start getting, like here, good old Forest County, 1% of the vote in. Some of these smaller counties just have very, very few votes in. You're talking about smaller counties that almost they might have like 10 or 20 precincts. Okay. Update. Milwaukee County is now down to 51% of the votes in. So remember, a few minutes ago it was at 61%. There is some typo or something. It's at 51. Dane is at 57 now. Okay, so yeah. See, Kenosha at 73, 53. If Kenosha goes 53-47 at the end of the day, Democrats at least win. And so a lot of votes coming out of Dane and Milwaukee still. No votes out of Racine, and if that goes the way of Kenosha, that's going to be a good chunk of votes. Brown County should... Well, what did Brown County do last time? Yeah, Brown County was 53-45, 45 and a half. Because I would say it is a slightly Republican county because Green Bay fans. Sorry. I'm not wearing my green shirt. Good. So yeah. Are they doing? Oh, okay. Voter ID requirement. Yes. Okay, so someone was mentioning the superintendent of public institutions. Yeah, you're seeing this actually going Democratic as well. It'll be interesting. Okay, 828. This one's a lot closer. Maybe some, and there's an incumbent in this one. But let's see, Court of Appeals. Personally, I'm one of those people that believe the voter ID thing is something that the Democrats should drop. I think I think it's not popular. That's 79% in Dane. Okay, let me put it this way. The Democrats are going to win this. Even with 38% of the vote in. Let's see, how much of Waukesha has 77% in. Washington has 40% in. Kenosha's staying at 53 to 47. Green is much higher than usual. Rock is Democrats are going to win this. I'm just going to say it. Democrats are going to win this. And with some of these rural counties coming in now, we'll see how it works out. But Democrats are going to win this. I'm saying Democrats will win it. Oh, so people are actually. Let me go look at the chat. Well, I mean, I look at it this way. Just offer free IDs. What the hell am I paying taxes for, right? Just offer free ID cards if people can't afford a driver's license or to pay for a regular ID card. State should be providing that. What the hell do we pay taxes for, right? And that's one of the reasons why I want to leave the United States. Seems like I pay a lot of taxes and I get shitty roads in return. I drove in Slovakia and the roads were nicer in Slovakia than they were in Illinois. It's insane. All right. Let's see. As of right now, this is a bad night for Republicans. Now, Republicans will take a victory lap on the Florida congressional districts, but they shouldn't. I mean, they'll have their illusions and stuff like that, but it was not a good night for them. Let's see if Petronas. Okay, let's see. 170. Hold on a second. 171, 386. 86, 97. Okay, I think Petronas is now in the range that he cannot get more votes than registered Republicans who actually turned out to vote. I've never seen that in a county in my life. I've never, on the Republican side, I've seen it on the Democratic side, but the Republican side, I've never seen that in an entire congressional district. I've never seen an entire congressional district in Florida where the Republican candidate had less votes than the amount of registered Republicans that turned out to vote. That is, I can't stress how huge that is. That is significant. Thoughts on Bernie AOC rallies? They're great. They're great. Like I said, get Chuck Schumer out there. See how many people he's going to bring in. Okay? Yeah, but the Democrats were not gonna win those Florida districts. They just weren't. Okay? And this is one of the problems I have, and I hate to say the liberal media. I don't mean it like how Republicans, I mean left-leaning media takes every little microcosm of hope, like two individuals I know named Simon Rosenberg and Tom Bonnier, take every little bit of hope and they squeeze that as much as they can and say Democrats are going to win. So yeah. Milwaukee is still at 51. Dane's still at 57. This is good. This is good for the Democrats. They're in a good position tonight. Let's look at the other races. I look at it this way with voter ID. When you even have Milwaukee County saying, hey, you know, we want this, that means a lot of African American voters are actually voting for that as well. To me, the voter ID law is rich liberal white gripe. Okay, rich liberal white whatever. You know, the social justice warriors who feel that they have to do stuff for somebody to make themselves feel good. All right. That kills Democrats a lot. And I think the vote and I think the ID law with voter registration is or when to vote is one of those. Okay, now we're starting to see them come down. Washington at 40, Waukesha at 77%, but at 58. Yeah, these are good. I think Jimmy Petronas will not get that. He is not going to get that 50. He's not going to get that 98,898 number. He's just not going to get it, is he? Now, we are going to see a little bit of a dip here as these smaller counties come in. But a lot of these counties will not have that many votes, but then they're not going to add that many votes either. So, yeah. I really want to see Racine come in. Let's see Kenosha. Kenosha 92, and it's increased, I think. Was it 53% or 52%? It might have been 53%. Crawford wins Kenosha, it's done. It's done. It's over. Crawford wins Kenosha and Racine. It's done. It's over. So well, my dad and I have the same name. We voted at the same precinct. He has a different middle name, actually. So yeah. But when they're just looking at the names, it can cause an issue. I just look at the little thing and go, oh yeah, that one's me. So yeah. It's good to be Democrat aligned, yeah, because technically these aren't Democrats. Well, the superintendent, that's got to be. No, that's actually a nonpartisan race. Interesting as well. Yeah, Democrats going to do quite well. See, in Kenosha here, they're actually, the Democrat is losing Kenosha. So that shows how well they're doing throughout the rest of the state. But it's interesting. Grant County, you have Crawford losing, but you have the Democratic superintendent winning. Maybe she's from there. I don't know. I don't know that race that well. Let's see. What do we have? Madison, Dane County has gone. Okay, see, this is another thing. Dane County was at 55 or 57% reporting. Now they're at 55. Okay, Milwaukee is now at 50% reporting. Weren't they just at 51%? So it's interesting because these reporting numbers are going down, which means there's a lot more votes there than they thought in these Democratic strongholds. No, Fine won the election, but he won it by significantly less. My projection in this election was that Fine was going to win this with, what did I say, 62.2% of the vote. That's off. But I thought that Petronas was going to win with 66% or 67% of the vote. 10% off, a 10% drop from what he should have had. But this is the one everyone's talking about. Today is a good day for Democrats. Today is a significant day for Democrats. Today is a day, and I'm going to keep on banging this drum for a while. The fact that Petronas got less votes than the amount of registered Republicans voting, I know I keep on saying it. I don't think a lot of people realize how huge that is, how immensely huge that is. We'll see at the end of the day if that's how it pans out, but I think it's gonna actually. Racine still hasn't come in. Okay, I was gonna say as I scroll over Dane County, that goes up to 71%. Has Crawford at 57.6. Milwaukee's still. Let's see what Milwaukee, because Milwaukee was 68% for Trump. Now we're looking at 72%. 79%. So Dane was 75%. So that's 4% higher as well. Let me look at the chat, see what people say. Let's see what's going on. Yeah, exactly. If this would have been the result, 7 months ago, just a little bit too late. It looks like we might have over 2 million voters. It'll be interesting how that equates to this. I don't even know what out-of-gamey is. I don't know what that means. Now remember, people, this is the important thing to remember. Donald Trump's still in charge. He still has the House. He still has the Senate. Apparently they're not doing anything because it just seems like Donald Trump can do anything by decree, right? So think of this election as good. Think of it as something moving positive in the Democratic direction. By no means does this change anything. And that's important. Oh, okay. Oh, wow. See, I don't know those. I don't know these counties that well in the north. Thank God. Thank you for putting that. I was like, I don't know what that is. Okay. I don't know these northern counties as well. Because they're around Green Bay. Why would anybody want to know anything around Green Bay? Anyway, sorry, I'm going to keep beating that drum. I do know these counties well because, like I said, I'm literally was born in Waukegan, Illinois, which is like literally right here. So yeah. So thank you, Michael, for clearing that up for me. I was like, I don't know what that is. Thank you for clearing it up. Yeah, I don't know all these counties here. Okay. Wow. More rural counties come in and the Democrats hardly have a dip. Let's see what Dane's doing. 70%. Remember, that was 71. Now it's down to 70. 50. I wonder what's taking Racine. I'm going to go look at Racine's numbers online. Now, I don't know about pronunciation here. In Illinois, just in Lake County on the other side of the border from Kenosha, we say Racine. Do people in Wisconsin say Racine, or do you say Racine like we do in Lake County? It'd be interesting to see what people say. Election information. Election results. Current election results. Oh, come on, Racine. Jesus. So I'm getting people saying two different ones. I've heard people say Racine. I'm not saying they're from Wisconsin. I'm just saying that I've heard people say that. I don't know where they're from. So, yeah. Oh, really? Yeah, 53. It's been blue all night. Um, yeah, see, I can't get anything out of Racine County. If that goes Democratic, then yeah. See, Dane County at 70%. See, it's weird because you notice these percentages out of Milwaukee County keep on going further and further down, right? Because it was at 55%, I think, Milwaukee County. Now it keeps on going down to 49%, which means if they're doing this by votes in, that means there's more votes coming in or people stand in line or something like that than they originally estimated. Yeah, exactly. So like there's a in Racine and that's in Chicago, right? Yeah. So maybe that's why I heard do people because I'm from the suburbs. I can't say this is one of the sins of being from um the suburbs. Is you can't say you're from Chicago. Like if anyone from like literally I lived in Schaumburg, which is literally right down the street from O'Hare, which is technically in Chicago. But yet I can't call myself a Chicagoan because people in Chicago get mad. So I don't know if people in the city of Chicago say Racine or Racine. Maybe that's it. Um, I just have a light go off. This number is nuts. One door is door finished. Oh yeah, door is essentially finished. Kenosha 53. So she won Kenosha. She won door. Um these are looking Waukesha at 82%. Waukesha is not moving much compared to what it was in the presidential election. Now, you say Schaumburg is in East Iowa, but how many students from the city of Chicago, like literally in the city of Chicago, go to University of Iowa? Huh? Most of the people in the suburbs go down to Champaign Urbana, right? So just it's just pointing that out. Um, so it's funny. I ask, is it Racine or Racine? And it just seems like that's just kind of sparked off a debate. Um, Sparked off a debate. I'm not from Schaumburg. I mean, I was born in Waukegan, lived in Schaumburg, Hoffman Estates, Algonquin, and basically spent my late childhood and all most of my adult life in Florida. So it's like I'm kind of like a Chicago area native who is part Florida man, I guess. Now remember, the thing with Wisconsin and voter registration and all that is they do have same day voter registration. That's important. A lot of people might be utilizing that tonight. And it was a conspiracy theory that a lot of the Trump people had because there was a difference between voter turnout number and the amount of people, with them not realizing that people, registered to vote on the day. But okay, Milwaukee's gone up a little bit. I think Dane went down. Wasn't Dane at like 71%? Now it's at 68. I mean, that's good. That's good. But the funny thing about Florida, I haven't lived in Florida, for what? Technically, like 14 years. I haven't lived in Florida like 14 years. Like I've lived in two other countries, one of those being Russia. Okay, I lived in Russia for 6 months. I lived in Murmansk, Russia for 6 months. After I left politics, I got into teaching English, and I was like, I want something different. I went to Murmansk, Russia, for 6 months. Um, we're gonna wait until. I mean, I've been on here for 3 hours. Um, I've been on here through 3 hours. We're gonna stay until it's called by AP, or no? Interesting. It's going to be called by the New York Times, not by AP, I guess. CNN is talking about it now. And CNN has 52%. See, it's interesting. CNN says 52% with 692,000, where New York Times says 48% at 694. Oh, okay, now they just updated it. So now the numbers are the exact same, but New York Times says 52% turnout or estimated so far. Now they just reduced it down to 51 or 51%. I don't know. I don't know. Jesus. All right, let me look at the chat. God. Well, how did that county do last time? I know, Michael, you mentioned it a few times. I need to see. Kind of interested. What was the most Republican county? Florence County. Let's see where good old Florence is. Florence has not reported yet. The next most Republican county is Taylor County. In Taylor County, 76% Republican. Now, for Trump, they went 73% Republican. So that's a little bit more Republican. All right, so we're at half of the votes in. Well, they're showing. It's interesting. No, they're not. Okay. I mean, this is good. I don't know. Maybe people. I mean, if you're Democratic leaning, I can understand why you would say this, but there's sometimes times where people from certain states, and I don't know if Wisconsin's one of these, people in certain states don't like when somebody comes in and tells them what to do, like Elon Musk. And there is a point that the Republicans really in the Trump administration really need to determine if they want to jettison him or not. Now, of course, they're not going to jettison him because he's going to be the tool used to scam all of us out of our money. But it will be interesting to see if there are exit polls see if there. I mean, usually if there are exit polls, they would have them here, but I don't see anything. Because I kind of wonder what the Elon Musk effect, how that might have led to one. Okay, now this might actually explain it. As I've talked about, we've had when they're doing the reporting, such and such percentage of votes in, that they start off here, but then they keep on going a little bit down. That's indicating to me there's a lot of election day registration going on. How much did Elon Musk doing the bullshit that he did affect that number? Could have been a lot. Could have been enough. So oh, they did. Not, I mean, I'm kind of surprised. I don't know what they're waiting to trigger it, but so everyone's calling it for Crawford except for New York Times. The horrible New York Times. Yeah, because I don't see at this margin, I don't at this margin with so much of Dane still to go, so much of Milwaukee, not having Racine, and that's probably going to be a few thousand votes extra if Kenosha's going that way. Yeah, I mean it's one. Oh yeah, La Crosse, yeah. Eau Claire 63. If I remember, Eau Claire was like in the mid 50s last time. Eau Claire 54.5. Yeah, so Eau Claire is 55, going 63% right now. This is a good number. Again, more data for Democrats to work with, especially in a higher turnout race like this. This is good for the Democrats. Well, I might end up watching the news and the victory parties and stuff like that. Because it's only 9:09. They're not calling it yet on the New York Times, the failing New York Times. I don't know why, but I mean, the writing's on the wall. Let's see, 77%, 42, 37. Okay, so there's still a few more. With that much of Dane still left and that much of Milwaukee still left, the question is it going to be a 10-point race or not? Really, is it going to be a 10-point race? And if it's a 10-point race, no one can call this. I don't think anyone was really predicting that big of one. I don't know if Crawford. Well, let's see what I had in my model. I mean, in my model, okay, my model of early voting, because remember, I don't have the election day numbers from Wisconsin. My model in early voting, I had the Democrats weighing 53 to 48. Okay, or, excuse me, 53 to 47, not 53 to 48. 50, I mean, technically 52.5 to 47.5. Okay, that's what my model had for early voting. That's also going to be off. That number is going to be way more Democratic, which again indicates that a significant, I'm not saying a large number, but a significant number will have shifted over. We might have a lot of Trump voters, buyer's remorse. The only reason I'm saying that's not the case is that like Waukesha County isn't really changing. What I am noticing, there are some others that are changing. Like I said, Kenosha. It's seeming like some of the closer counties are flipping over to the Democratic side. Some of the Democratic counties are gaining a few more percentages, like we were talking about La Crosse, okay, like we were talking about Eau Claire. But it does seem like some Republican counties, like the stronger Republican counties, are kind of staying in that Republican stronghold area. But at the end of the day, hey, I would rather have those 50-50 counties swinging my way and they keep the numbers that they have, because that wins you a state like Wisconsin. So, I mean, this is your roadmap to victory, to be quite honest. Why have they not called this? I'm kind of surprised they have not called this yet. Because now all the rural counties are starting to fill in. It's like Taylor County here. It actually went stronger. I mean, it's only 10% in. So most of Dane is coming in. Milwaukee at 60. Oh, okay. Racine's come in. 50 to 49. 51-49. Yeah, these two, I mean, that's something. All right, let me go ahead and Is that his home county? I mean, that might make sense then. I mean, Waukesha will, I mean, it could be eventually someday, but not like in the next 10 years, right? Could Waukesha eventually become like a DuPage County in the Chicagoland area? Maybe. Or maybe it would be more, I mean, remember, DuPage County was like the bedrock of kind of Reagan conservatism. And now it's a Democratic county. Um Come on. Get this stuff up. Get this done. 62% in and you're at 56.44 and you can't call it yet. Come on. Oh, and by the way, before we go, one last plug. If you're interested in becoming a subscriber, please join me on Voting Trend. You can see the link down below written in the description. And if you want to help out this channel and to help out the Substack as well, there's a new Substack coming out called The 11th Province about Canadian politics. But if you really want to help this channel and really want to help the Substack, please become a paid member. It's only $6 per month, and your help would be greatly appreciated. And if you're not just a subscriber to the YouTube channel, please go ahead, subscribe, like. Maybe you're convincing me to start doing a little bit more American videos again. I've been going the Canadian route. Maybe I'll do some American stuff. Okay, so he is from Waukesha County. Okay, well then that makes sense. But let's look at like Washington County, 67% in Washington County. What did Trump do in Washington County? Because that would have been one of his bigger counties. So he did 67%. So that's what I'm saying. It seems like some of these are 65 and higher. The Republican numbers are saying the same. You're not seeing huge dips. If it's kind of lower than 65 and getting into the 60s, then you're starting to see some changes going on. Yeah, it's ridiculous that they haven't called that. Let's go over to Florida really quick one more time, see if they've done anything. 173.99, I think that stayed that way. They should be only getting about, okay, in Florida, 399, they should only be getting about 1,000 votes more. And Jimmy Patronis doesn't have enough to equal what the registered Republicans are. That is a huge win. That is a huge, huge blow to the Republicans in the Redneck Riviera as well. Yeah, it's like everyone's calling it except friggin' the New York Times. We can't make Trump mad, so we got to make sure we do it at the end. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up for tonight. Again, please subscribe. Please like the video. And please subscribe to my Substack. It'd be great to have you. I do a lot more work on Substack than I do on YouTube. And again, I haven't done videos in the last few days because I've been focusing more on trying to get Slovak citizenship than I've been on politics. But I think it's safe to say, even though the New York Times is sitting there with their finger up there, you know what, not doing anything, I think we all know who won this race. Good night for the Democrats. And if this stays a 10-point margin, wow, this is going to be a really good night in Wisconsin for the Democrats. But it's going to be a good night for the Democrats tonight. The Florida races, though, they're the ones that they lost. To me, those are the real stories, are those races. And again, Patronis, as I mentioned time and time again, him not getting even the amount of registered Republicans that turned out, his vote couldn't even equal that, means that if all the Democrats and all the independents voted for the Democrat, still some Republicans voted that way. It's insane. It's crazy, but that's where we're at. Over the next week or two, I'll probably be doing an analysis of those congressional districts because there's a lot of data to get out of those. We'll see what happens in Wisconsin as well. They finally did it. Okay, finally. Took you long enough. Anyway, there we go. great night for the Democrats. So thank you all very much for joining me tonight. We'll do this again for the Canadian election, just so you know. So April 28th. And I'll get up really early in the morning, and we will be doing this for the Australian election. I will be keeping you up to date on that. I just have not talked about it because I've just been focused on the Canadian election. So thank you all very much. Have a wonderful day wherever it is you are.